Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. But need OG Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. Bitcoin is absolutely hanging by a thread here, guys. I got the fan on right now, guys. It's like a blizzard in here. We got money blowing all over the place. But, guys, Bitcoin absolutely hanging on by a thread here at our anchored VWAP / golden pocket-ish level. I want to talk about the key levels that we're at right now, guys, because if we do not hold this level of support, we are very likely going to see a bigger drop to the downside. Now, we did talk about the bearish case yesterday, and I did kind of bring up those lower levels of support that I'm going to be looking at if this level does break. You know, we don't want to see this, guys, but unfortunately, there are some signs on the chart here. We're going to take a look at Market Cypher B. I'll take a look at the key levels with you guys, update you on my trades. We did take a scalp long yesterday. We did wind up getting that. We were looking yesterday on the live stream for price to come up to a very key level. I want to talk about that because we did tap that exact level before dumping back to the downside. That scalp long was playing out great. And then we wound up getting stopped out because we did come back down. I am actually in another scalp long here as well. And the shorts are absolutely printing still. I actually took a little bit more profit off of those yesterday. So I'll update you guys on that. Kind of show you what we're working with here on the trades. But yeah, guys, I really specifically today, what I want to cover here, guys, is there is actually, you saw the title. I actually made the title today. I actually physically wrote the title today because Tony D is off in some vacation land. I don't know if he wants me to expose where he's at, but shout out to Tony D. He's actually taking a little bit of a weekend vacation, so shout out to him, but I had to make the title myself here, so I do actually know what it was. Bitcoin hanging by a thread here. Bearish pattern returns. Now, this isn't like an ascending triangle or a head and shoulders or anything like that, guys, but it is actually something that we looked at. Somebody asked me to explain something, I think in last night's live stream, asking me to go over something. You guys will know if you were here last night, but I did actually look a little bit further into that. And I do want to kind of show, I was talking about yesterday how where we're at right now, this consolidation pattern that we had over the past couple of months before this drop to the downside is reminding me of the top of 2021. So I actually want to show you guys that fractal, and I want to pull it over to our current price action like we did yesterday. And I want to talk about this, right? Because, again, it doesn't necessarily mean the top is in. Now, obviously, this is going to be possible. I'll go over that as well. I don't personally fall in the camp of the bear market 100% being here, but you bet your bottom dollar I am open to that idea, right? I'm not looking to hold my bag to the bottom. You could take that to the bank. But I want to talk about this pattern, guys, and the fractal and what it could potentially mean for Bitcoin. And obviously, it is a little bit different. In 2021, this pattern took a long time to kind of play out. We kind of saw a smaller version of that. So I want to talk about if we see this pattern return, where are we likely to go? And I think you guys are going to be pretty shocked, or if not amazed, at where those levels will come in. So shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys for being here. Oh my God, I see a bunch of golden emojis in the chat. Hang on one second. Shout out to Golden. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. He says a black swan event is unpredictable with a negative outcome. A white swan event is predictable with a positive outcome. A golden swan is an unpredictable event with a positive outcome. Shout out to Golden. Are we about to have a golden swan? Hopefully we are. Hopefully we are. Shout out to Golden. Maybe Golden's about to buy $15 trillion worth of Bitcoin. We all know he's capable. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you for the super chat. And hopefully we can get a golden swan in here. Drop those golden emojis in the chat if you guys love Golden as much as we do. Shout out to you, man. Golden, are you hinting towards something is the question. But yeah, guys, we got a lot to look at here on the charts. But real quick, let's go ahead and shout out to CandleMafia. We got Harris in the chat said, hello. Shout out to Harris. What is going on? We see you, brother. Welcome in. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We got Tay Day in the chat said too much liquidity above Frankie up soon. Shout out to Tay Day. I'm actually going to talk about that as I am in a long position once again here. We've been absolutely crushing the trades in the premium Discord, guys. The shorts are absolutely paying out. And I want to talk about a little trick that I do with my trading that if you're having trouble taking profits, guys, I have a really, really good kind of an abstract technique that you can use that might make you a little bit more likely to take profit. But yeah, shout out to Chemistry Bro in the chat. We got Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden, Ken Bro, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob, Ken Bro, am I tripping right now? Why do I keep repeating myself? But shout out to the mods, guys. Show them some love in the chat. We got the Godfather in the chat. Said, hold me, Frankie. I'm scared. Shout out to DV. What's going on? Godfather, I'm here for you, brother. I'm here for you. Don't you worry, bro. We got J Violet K-Man in the chat. Said, hey, yo, what up, Frankie? What's going on, K-Man? Welcome in. We got Jesse, the like police, in the chat. Front run it. And I think he's talking about that like button, baby. Front run that like button, guys. Smash it. Touch it with your butt. Hit it with your elbow. We don't judge. Just please tap that thing. We got 997 likes last night, guys. A couple of likes away from a $350 Solana giveaway, which is going to turn into actually a $700 Solana giveaway because we already have $350 locked in because we got 1,000 likes already, I think. We also owe Michael $350 for guessing that I had a bag of Milanos on my desk. But shout out to Michael and shout out to you guys. But without further ado, we got Ando Pancho in the chat. Code on. We got Say It With Me, Sui, and K Diggity. Shout out to Phoebe. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts, guys, because we got a lot to look at. And I want to show you guys this fractal. So let's go ahead and jump on into, shout out to BTC Boss, the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. Here we are. Oh, man. Oh, man. We had a nice little bounce to the upside. Now, as you guys know, last night, before we get into the fractal, before we get into the meat and potatoes here, or should I say the macaroni and the sauce and the meatballs, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here, right? So, obviously, yesterday, we did take that long position here from the low, as this was a key level of support. This isn't a brush. This is a fib. But yeah, we had this key level of support. We did take that long position in the premium. I did wind up playing out pretty well. And I'll be honest with you guys, right? I don't like to just pretend that we win every single trade or we never got stopped out or anything like that. But this actually did run up very nicely. I made like $2,000 on this last night, except I didn't make $2,000 because I was going to take profits. And you know what? I'm super loaded up on the shorts here. The shorts, I took more profits on the shorts as well. I'll bring that up in a minute. But yeah, we got this to play out pretty nicely. But we were looking for price if we were going to get get the local retracement to the upside, which was kind of our bias last night. Obviously, I am still leaning a little bit more towards the possibility of getting a bigger dump down. But we look for that local retracement to the upside. Look at it come into this golden pocket 786 retracement. And what happens? We ride our way right up there. Bing bong, right? And I don't believe it. Yeah, this was... we wound up coming up here. I wound up not taking profit because we were on our way up. Excuse me. But I did get stopped out for a small loss of $144. But that's no big deal, obviously, because we're up 5 figures on the short positions. And now we're up again on this little scalp long that I re-entered after I got stopped out. I just barely got stopped out, but I wound up re-entering here. Maybe I'll go over what made me take that trade. But we are in that new long now. We're in the 2 shorts from... up here at about 90, I call it 97K, 98K, and we're also holding the short here from 102K. Again, I've locked in more profits on those. So, no matter what happens here, we're walking away with some money, which is really nice. But I want to talk about this, guys. So here we go, right? So we rejected the golden pocket, and obviously this is more local, right? And I want to dig into this local price action in a minute, but let's cover some of the higher time frames because obviously, guys, we are... in the danger zone, right? As you guys know, we've been looking for this drop down or the possibility of getting this very fast drop down for ever, right? Pretty much ever since we formed this range. We've been talking about this all throughout this range, saying if we were able to break these lows and not get a quick recovery into that volume profile, we had a lot of liquidity sitting down here, more specifically on our last drop down. Like here, we were, really looking at the opportunity to potentially come down, grab these lows, and then have all those liquidations flush us down to this key level of support. And I know a lot of people hated that we were looking at that, but here we are at that golden pocket / anchored VWAP. Very, very, very important support here. But the question is this going to hold and send us up to $1 million, right? Or, in my opinion, the next all-time high would really probably be about between 112 and 120K. But are we going to put a low in here? I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not very convinced, right? Like, same thing as yesterday. Even the little long, even though I was in a long, it's kind of almost the exact same situation as yesterday, guys. We were getting the bounce. We were in the scalp long. And although I was long, I didn't really, I didn't feel great about this being the low. Now, technically, it is still the low. But I still don't necessarily feel great about this being the low, guys, for a few different reasons, right? Number one, obviously, the high time frame money flow is still coming to the downside, right? Now, again, like I said, guys, if we got this drop to the downside, I would not be calling for the bear market. I am still not in the camp that the bear market is here, right? Or the all-time high, the real top is in. But again, that does not mean that we cannot feel more pain. And I do want to preface this for anybody who's new here. I am not telling you that the bear market is 100% not here and you should never sell your bags and you 100% should just be buying, right? I'm not saying that. We are traders. We actually understand how this market moves. And we also understand that there is nobody on earth that can 100% predict that the top is in here. I am an agnostic trader, right? I react off of the price action that I'm given, but based off my personal, my opinion, right? The structurally here on Bitcoin, this is not something that we have not seen in a bull market before. 25% pull down from the all-time high. This is not something uncommon, right? So at this point, we've not broken any macro market structure. So there's really no reason to be calling for the bear market, at least from a technical perspective. And but with that being said, guys, I've been talking about this a lot. There are signs. There are signs here that we have seen before to call the top of the bull market. So we do have signs pointing that the bear market could be here, right? But I just personally don't, this is a binary fact. There are things that are popping up now that have popped up in the top of previous bull markets. I personally, right, we take the information and then we come to our own conclusion based off many metrics, right? So based off that information, sure, we have signs here that have called tops in the past, and we're going to go over it in just a second. But I personally don't fall into the camp of the bear market being here just yet. I know this is super painful. The fear and greed index is absolutely crushed. This is historically not the time to get overly bearish. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not expecting more downside, but that's not just the time to be calling for a bear market. In my own personal opinion, the way I'm handling things, I've not sold my any of my spot bags. I'm not panic selling down here. I'm not panic shorting down here, right? I'm holding my shorts from up here and up here, right? I'm holding my shorts from the highs. When everybody's getting bullish, that's where we look for the shorts. We do not want to panic short here. But as a matter of fact, I'm actually holding a long from here. But we got the move, right? And I'm sticking to my word. I still don't personally fall in the camp that the bear market's here, but that's not me telling you that this is definitely not the bear market. Keep that in mind, right? Anyone out there telling you that this is definitely the bear market or definitely not the bear market is just lying to you, right? If they're saying it's 100%, they're lying to you. There's no way for anyone to know that. Trust me, I've been looking at these charts for long enough to understand, right? Like people think it here, people think it here, people think it here, right? And you look at this market long enough from an agnostic perspective by just looking at information on the charts, and you really realize how crazy emotions are, right? Like even on Instagram and TikTok, like the sentiment is horrific, guys. The sentiment is absolutely brutal. And this is typically, not the sign. If this was the actual top, we would be, the sentiment would be much different, right? So at the end of the day, I'm not, although I am looking for potential more downside, again, to our next key level of support, which is sitting down here, and I'm going to show you some pretty interesting stuff in a minute. I still don't think this is enough to call for a bear market, right? So there we go. I'm going to leave that there. But we got the quick drop down. We capitalized on the short. Now we're getting the bounce. We're sitting in the long. And I want to talk to you guys about something. Now, 2-day money flow coming out. This could easily give us a continuation to the downside. Even if, right, I forgot who said it. Maybe it was Tay said we have a lot of liquidity sitting above. Absolutely. I do think that was kind of my thought process yesterday. If we were going to see the continuation of this little pump to the upside, get out of here, sea cleaner. If we were going to get the continuation of this pump to the upside, we know we had a lot of liquidity sitting up here, in which case, right, the first level we were looking at was the golden pocket, right, that we were actually, bada boom, where we just rejected from, right, earlier today. Come on. Give me that dang fib. Right, so we came up. That was our first level of resistance. The next level of resistance after that, obviously, we do know that we have liquidity sitting above. All right, and we did have a ton of shorts open at this low, guys. This is part of the reason why I actually took a short down here. Maybe I'll break into that a little bit. If you guys want to learn how I actually use shorts and longs opening and closing to make my trading decisions, maybe I'll go into that a little bit. But a lot of shorts opened up down here, which is going to put a lot of liquidity above. As a matter of fact, now that we've broken this high, we may start to see some of those shorts get squeezed. And if we break this high here, that short squeeze may continue to bring us back to the upside. But yesterday, if we were able to break this golden pocket, we were looking, if we got the bigger retracement, to flip that 786. Once we get above there, we could potentially look for the pull up into our bigger level of resistance, which is sitting, very simply, guys, at the macro value area low of our range, sitting at about 92,350. There's a lot of confluence in here that I want to go over with you guys. So at the end of the day, we do have a lot of shorts opening. We do have some liquidity above. Could give us that fuel to the upside. Maybe I'll cover that a little bit more. But, still, this was our key level of resistance. Unfortunately, it wound up giving us the hard rejection. We got to pull back to the downside. And at the end of the day, when we look at this, right, the main targets remain exactly the same. If we're able to get the bigger rip to the upside, the major target is going to be sitting at the value area low, 92,270. And then if we get above that level, we actually have confluence here as well. But if we get above that value area low, we may be able to get a push up into the POC. And this is exactly what we were looking at yesterday. I just want to briefly go over it for anybody who missed the stream. And if we do get a squeeze to the upside here, I want you guys to be aware of kind of how I'm going to be handling that. Because again, we're not just going to see a pump here, right? People will tell you, right, oh my God, Bitcoin's up 8% in a day, bull market's on, right? That is not necessarily what that means. If that were the case when we got that pump, I will let you guys know, but that's not what that necessarily means, right? With our 2-day money flow coming out, this could potentially mean, right, VWAP not really coming up that aggressively, but if we did get the bigger retracement, guys, at the end of the day, 92.3 is going to be that major level of resistance, confluent with our golden pocket retracement from this high here at 99.5 all the way down to the low. So this is, again, still, these are the same levels we looked at yesterday, right? Golden pocket value area low. And then the next key level is going to be the POC 786. Now, we also do have some more confluence up at these levels. Again, this is in the case of a bigger short squeeze up to higher prices. But my sentiment here, guys, would still remain the same. Right? I would be looking for a lackluster pump to the upside. Where are we going to potentially put in lower highs? We could potentially put them in at the golden pocket or the POC of the range. Or I'm sorry, 786, right? Which is confluent with the POC, and the golden pocket is confluent with the value area low. So I will be, with the premium Discord, looking for shorts in these zones, guys. Same exact zones as yesterday. But, if... right? That's the key resistance to the upside. We have some local levels as well, which maybe we'll dive into that a little bit, but I don't really want to overcrowd everybody with a million different levels. These are the major levels, right? If we're going to hold this anchored VWAP, which is absolutely key, guys, this is the key level. If we lose this anchored VWAP, guys, we are very, very likely going to see a bigger drop to the downside, targeting about $80,000 next. I'll actually go over this right now. Let's go lower time frame real quick. Maybe I can pull up the trades while we do that as well. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, so here is the long that we took earlier today, or actually not that long ago, and the short position, right? So I did lock in. I got $3,500 locked in on the short so far. I got another $3,200 unrealized. And then we got this little scalp long open today, up about $1,100. And then I also am holding my short over here on Femex as well, up $29, almost $3,000 unrealized, got $3,100 locked in. So we're up massively on the shorts here. And now we got that nice little long position running as well. So if this thing continues to rip and we get the short squeeze, we will continue to pay us out. That will continue to pay us out here. So not too bad, not too bad. The trading has been pretty nice here, as finally, you know, we're out of this nasty choppy range. We had to actually have some clearer signals. But I'll be honest, guys, I'm not necessarily, I am, again, same thing as the long yesterday that I took here for the little ride up. You know, this is more of a hedge against my shorts. I am, as you can see, much more heavy short than I am long. So I'll be honest, I don't even really have that much hope for this long. Like, if we get the squeeze to the upside, right, maybe we get the push up and we can make a bunch of money. But at the end of the day, I would not be surprised if this gets stopped out and we get the bigger drop to the downside. I'll talk to you guys about exactly why. But if we do get the drop to the downside, I will just go over the key levels once again. We talked about these last night, but I'll bring them up just to give you guys a little bit of a... little bit of a refresher here. Daily naked point of control with the bottom of this golden pocket is sitting at about $81,800, and then we have our next daily naked point of control sitting here at $80K. If we break down, right, I'll come lower time frame here so we can get a little bit better of a look. Right, if we break down below this anchored VWAP, guys, we swept it. Got to move up. We swept it again, and now we're back above. But if we get underneath that anchored VWAP, guys, and it turns into resistance, I am and we can't break back above it like we did today, I'm going to be expecting the bigger drop down, right? And again, $81,800 to $80,000 are the next local levels. And obviously, if we zoom out here, guys, we got to bring up that lower level once again, which is sitting at the 786. This is a very confluent level. We have the 786. We have a daily naked point of control. We also have a weekly naked point of control as well. So this zone is going to be absolutely key, right? So if we do wind up losing 80K, I will be anticipating a potential drop down into this zone. This gets between about 76.4, 76.5, all the way down to about 75K. We also have our CME gap sitting down here as well. I know a lot of people are looking at that CME gap. Now, you know, CME gaps are important to look at. They don't always get filled, right? It doesn't guarantee that we get filled here. But if we get below that 80K level, it makes a lot of sense. 786, daily naked point of control, weekly MPOC, and Mrs. Candles coming in hot with some headphones. Why don't you put them on my head, Mrs. Candles? Thanks. Now we're locked in. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I'm just kidding. Let me see that hand, Mrs. Candles. Give me the dang hand. Pump this thing, Mrs. Candles. We're in a long right now. We need it to go. Where's Bitcoin going? Let us know. Where's Bitcoin going, Mrs. Candles? Are we going to 92.3 first? Are we going to 92.3 first, or are we going to 80K? Oh, she just went, ugh. Nasty. Right? But check this out. Mrs. Candles. Look at this. Over here. Look at that. It goes down, but we still make money, Mrs. Candles. Let's go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. She's disgusted by Bitcoin right now. You're not liking this, huh? Give me another hand sniff. Let's pump it. Come on. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. There's those Mrs. Candles hands in the chat. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, right, we lose that anchored VWAP. We're going to be looking down towards $81,800 and $80,000. Lose that $80,000 level. I am definitely 100%. Please have it marked off on your charts. I'm not saying we're guaranteed to go down there, but I'm saying if we lose 80K, we are very certainly headed down to this level between 75 and 76,450. Unfortunately, right? And I want to talk about this, guys. You know, let's take a look at Market Cypher B, and I'm going to show you this fractal that I'm looking at. But again, it's really hard to say, right? If we lose this right now, anchored VWAP turns to resistance. Very likely we'll hit these levels. Lose 80K coming down here, right? Now, that's all dependent on if we come up or down first, right? So if we lose it here, that's what we're looking for. If we come up first, right, and in this case, that's fine. We'll stop out of the long for a very small loss, and then the shorts continue to pay us out, whether we come here or here. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm kind of at a cushy position. I'm just chilling in the shorts and trying to take some stabs at some longs. But if we come up first, that's fine, right, because we can get the rise to the upside, make an absolute killing on that short. That long, right? And then if we could get those short confirmations, I may look to add to my short positions as long as we get the confirmations, because remember, money flow indicates the overall trend. And at this point, guys, if money flow is still trending down and we're about to cross over into the red, we're going to look for that lackluster rip to the upside to put in the lower high, potentially add to the short, take profit on the long, and then re-profit on more of that bigger short position on the way back down, where I will be targeting the 786. So the simple kind of thought process here is, if this then and bearish confirmations, then that, where we target the 786. And we will be looking for shorts in the premium here. If we wake up into the 786, this could be another area where we put that lower high in at. And I'll talk about what happens if we get above here as well. I'll be honest, guys. If we break back into this little back up into this POC, right? We also have that little mini volume profile that we were trading in forever up here. If we're able to get out of that range, pretty much above the macro POC at about 97K, I think that's our best bet of getting a big rip to the upside. But we're very far away from that. So, you know, keep that in mind. But, you know, if we get the rise up first, right, we'll profit on the long, look for new shorts up here if we get the confirmations, and I will be targeting a lower low, right? And why am I going to be targeting a lower low, guys? Well, it's very, 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 very simple. There's that CME gap, right? I'll just do this on the CME chart. At the end of the day, right, if we do wind up getting that retracement, right, into our golden pocket retracement, right? Where is that golden pocket? Where is that lower high likely to come in at? Well, it's likely to come in at that golden pocket or 786 Fibonacci retracement. You can see POC confluence on the 786, golden pocket confluence here on the value area low, right? So the if this, then that would be bada boom, bada bing, right? So we get the move up first. Let's assume we hold that anchored VWAP here. We get the bounce up, looking for, right, 2-day money flow or daily money flow, now crossing over into the red on the CME chart. So if, you know, just for the example, right, I'm really looking at the 2-day money flow on the Bybit chart. But if it crosses over into the red like we're seeing right here, what are we going to be looking for? Lackluster retracement. Where's that lower high likely to come in at? It's going to be likely to come in at that box, right? And then we're going to be looking for the lower high in anticipation of the lower low to come in. Right, so that is what I will be looking for if we get the pump up first, which, will we get it? It's hard to say, right? I'm going to talk about the liquidity we have above in just a second, but this is what I will be looking at if we get the move up and money flow continues out, because remember, money flow indicates a longer-term trend. We use the money flow as a filter of where we should be looking for lower highs and lower lows, or if we should be looking for gigalongs for massive new all-time highs, right? So for the most part, this is what I'm looking for. Somebody clip it. If we see that play out, I'll tell you this. If we come up and we get those bearish confirmations, it's very likely we're going to get that move, right? And just to bring in a little bit of context here, right, we'll pull up that fib, right? That could bring us right into that 786, right, which would be very nasty, but it could potentially be in the card. So that is what I'm going to be looking at. Hopefully we can get the long to continue to play out. But that's kind of the gist of things, right? In the medium to longer term, if we get the bounce, we're going to look for something like that. If we come down first, simply put, key level of support, 81.8. Next level, 80K, lose that. We're looking to come down here. In that case, the shorts just continue to pay us out, and we look for the new longs at our key levels. Now, I want to show you guys something, right? If we take a look at this, let me pull up the Bitstamp chart real quick. Now, where are we at? Is this the cycle chart? Yes, it's the cycle chart. Let me pull it up over here. So let's take a look at this, right? If we look at this chart, guys, somebody asked me last night to look at this, right? Like, I forgot exactly what they said, but they made me look, compare this price action to previous price action, in which case I said I was looking at this, and I was actually looking at this yesterday a little bit. The 2021 all-time high, guys, this price action is almost identical, right? It's actually pretty freaky. This is never going to line up perfectly, but this pattern and this fractal is lining up literally almost to the exact candle, right? So we grab our bars pattern here, and we just pull this, right? And we'll pull it something like that, right? And let's drag it on over to our current price, right? We're obviously going to have to shrink it down. Like I said, it's not the exact same situation, but if we shrink this down, you guys can see, actually, I think I might have it here saved on the chart. I do. So right here, right? This pattern is almost repeating exactly, right? This is almost identical to the 2021 top. Now, this doesn't mean that this is necessarily going to be the top of the overall cycle, right? Like I said, this is a different situation. This consolidation wound up lasting about 500 days, right? This consolidation is obviously not 500 days. It's much shorter, right? So when you look at this fractal, this is pretty crazy, right? It's almost identical. You get the first rise up, the drop to the downside. These candles, like this formation is almost exactly the same, right? We put in a slightly higher high to sweep the liquidity above the highs. The same exact thing as we had in 2021, right? You had the bearish divergences. You had the SFP of the all-time high, right, on the weekly. It was a nice SFP, but you came up, you swept the highs, you got the drop to the downside, you bear flagged out, and you got another dump. This is happening to a T, right? It is the same exact fractal. Now, this doesn't guarantee that we're 100% going to get the exact same thing to happen, right? But if we zoom in here, you guys can just see how similar these patterns are, right? You get the drop down, you flag out, you get the drop to the downside. And if you actually line this up somewhat closely, you can see where this brings us down to, about $76,400. This is pretty crazy, guys. So if we're going to see this fractal play out the same way it did in 2021, again, it's not going to look identical. It's not going to be the exact same thing. Obviously, it's not that easy, but this is very, very similar price action. And again, I wouldn't trade based off this, but this fractal is, you can't argue this fractal is 100%, very close to 2021. And we've seen it play out, flag out, drop to the downside. Are we going to flag out here again and then get, the continuation, like the absolute brutality of, just slow pumps, another dump down, another dump down? This would bring us down to that $76,400 level, which is pretty crazy, right? Now, if I pull this up on our actual price chart with our actual levels, you'll actually see how close it is, right? Let me just go ahead and grab this. Bada boom. We'll go over the range here. Drag it on over. We're going to have to obviously make it much smaller. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Drag it over here, right? And I'll turn off some of these daily naked points of controls as well, just to clean things up. I'll turn off the, I'm going to turn off this upper levels. Come on, baby. Hide this, right? And it does look, right, if you go ahead and line this up, right, as best as we can, right? This is obviously speculative and an estimation, right? This is obviously, I wish there was an easier way to move this so it didn't jump around all over the place so fastly, or so quickly, I should say. Come on. There we go, right? It's a very, very, very similar setup, right? You get the rise up, the wiggle down, back up, back down, come up here, sweep the highs, bearish divergence on the weekly, same thing that was in 2021, drop, flag out, drop. And then, if, come on, I didn't drag that second, dang it, I didn't get the second dump here. Bear with me here, guys, bear with me. Let me go ahead and grab it one more time, bada boom, bada bing. All right, so I'll just grab it a little bit deeper there. So I think you guys get the point, right? Again, fractals are not something that I use to trade, right? But it is very often that history repeats itself, right? And when you have a fractal lining up this closely, it's quite wild, right? Again, the sweep of the highs, the weekly bearish divergence, the SFP, it's all here, right? And again, not the top of the cycle necessarily, right? It's just a fractal. Fractals are, price action is fractal. So it's not that, just that that's this is a different situation. It was less of a consolidation, but if you just line this up and size it up, you can see that it drops us down directly into our lower levels here at around $74,000-ish, right? Right into our deeper zone. So are we going to see something like this happen? We could. Maybe we just flag out here and get another drop down. Again, I'm only using this as kind of like an idea of how low we can go, right? And again, this is not something that I would say, go pull fractals and then trade based off it. But it lines up with our thesis here of maybe a little lackluster retracement. This doesn't bring you all the way up to 94K or 92K. Maybe we just flag out. That's obviously something that can happen. But even if it plays out a little differently, right, you might just get those lower highs, lower lows, right? Bringing us down to that next target support, right? We have the 786, the CME gap. You also have the structural support of these highs in here as well from the previous, 7-month consolidation range. So this is definitely something to be looking at. We do not want to lose 72K, guys. We do not want to lose 72K. Now, I will obviously naturally be looking for longs at $72,000 as its support. But at the end of the day, guys, this is possible. I highly recommend. I mean, I'm not going to spend all the time to get it to line up exactly. It never will, obviously. But when you just line this up, guys, it really does bring you right down to that level, and it's looking identical. And we've seen fractals play out like this, time and time again. When I pulled fractals here to see if we were going to come up and break that all-time high, and it played out exactly like that, right? Not because of the fractal, but it helps us. This is with all of our other information and analysis that we're doing. It's in agreement with our analysis already. So what if we see something like that? It's definitely in the cards. And why we couldn't, on top of the money flow coming out on the 2-day, on top of the money flow being in the red on the daily, on top of the weekly and monthly bearish divergence, which is about to confirm here, by the way. Monthly bear div is about to confirm in about 1 day and 1 hour, right? Unless we rip up and send this thing, this is likely going to confirm. And even that monthly red dot is likely to give us that continuation down. And that's just the information, guys. I'm just here to give you the information. Don't shoot the messenger. Shoot the message, I guess. Shoot the piece of paper. I don't know. But even if we come on over here to the 2-day, right? Let's see here. Yeah, and you could see like that 2-day money flow. That 2-day money flow is also crossing over into the red. So, like, I mean, bet your bottom dollar, guys. Like, you know, you don't want to mess around with money flow. If that money flow stays in the red, we are going to anticipate lower lows to come in. Whether we get the massive lower high at 92K or between 92 and 94K before we go down, or we just kind of flag out and wiggle down there right now. That is kind of what I'm expecting overall, right? You know, again, just a rough estimate of what I'd be expecting. Now, the way I'm playing it, obviously, is holding the shorts for a drop down. I'm not willing to take a fresh short here at support. I would have to wait for some kind of retracement, and I would really like a significant retracement, right? I don't want one little willy-nilly retracement. So if we pull up our levels here, I do want to talk a little bit about this, right? We also have pretty important anchored VWAPs here as well, right? You have this anchored VWAP pulled from, let me go ahead and get rid of bada boom. Whoops. Get rid of this anchored VWAP. Bada boom, right? So we have one anchored VWAP pulled from this high at about 102K, coming right through here. If price does continue up here, we could get that nice and confluent with that value area low at 92K, which again also has, come on, there we go. Also has that golden pocket confluence, right? And then right now it's confluent with the 786, and I would also be pulling an anchored VWAP from the all-time high, right? Significant highs in the market. Let me make sure I get that right. Right? Bada boom. So these are the two anchored VWAPs I'm watching, right? At the time, if we do wind up continuing up here, which I do think could be possible, I'll show you what I'm watching for that continuation. You know, this anchor VWAP might become confluent, and if we come up here, this anchor VWAP also might become confluent. These are 100% the biggest levels of resistance. So that's what I'm looking for if we get the big retracement, and hopefully we can, because I want to show you guys something. We had a massive shorts open up here at the low. Doesn't guarantee that we have to come up and take that liquidity. But what it definitely does do is bring a lot of liquidity into the market. And I will just show you this, right? I'm going to bring up Exo charts really quickly here, and I'm going to bring up the net shorts. And you can see this, right? This shows you net shorts opening and closing. Look at that. 20.2 million, absolutely massive shorts opening down here. And this was part of the reason, you know, it's not just every time you see shorts enter the market that you could just enter a long position, but this was one of the confirmations that I was looking at to enter a long position, the one that I'm sitting in right now up $1,200, right, earlier today. So you have massive shorts open here. And what do you want to think to yourself? I'm going to give a little bit of a freebie, a little free education here on the live stream. When you look at this, how would you think of this, right? You have to understand what's going on behind the candles. If you have a lot of shorts opening up down here, where are their stop losses going to be? Well, their stop losses are likely have to be above this swing high, right, or above this swing high. And I actually really like this this high here at about 85K. But as price creeps up here, guys, once you start cracking these levels, you start to stop out some of the shorts. You could even see here on this big candle to the upside, you had some shorts closing that could indicate that you stopped out those shorts on the push to the upside. And now we're hitting our head on this value area low, right? And then we've hopped above it, flipped it to support. If we can get above this time point of control at $86,000 and start breaking these equal highs here, come on, and start breaking these equal highs that we have up here, excuse me, you have to think to yourself, you know, depending on how aggressive or how degenerate these people who were shorting were, you know, they either have their short stops here, you know, maybe, you know, somewhere up in here, or really above this massive swing high, right? So, and we're going to take a look at the liquidity heat map to try to figure out where those liquidations are sitting. But if we hop above that TPOC and we start cracking these highs, guys, that liquidity could potentially start getting taken to give us a very fast squeeze to the upside. And if you look at the TPO profile here, this is very similar to a volume profile where when you, it's a little different, right? On a volume profile, the high volume nodes indicate where where the most volume was transacted, but this is showing you where price spent the most amount of time, right? The farther out this bar comes, the more amount of time was spent there. And when you have gaps, oftentimes you get pretty quick trends or just big rips through those gaps, right? So it all lines up here. If we're able to get above here, right, push up into these stops, we know there's probably liquidity sitting above about $85,000 from everybody shorting here, and we could see that, right? We actually see that in the market. There's a lot of shorts here. We're not just guessing that a pump is a short squeeze, right? We're assuming, right, that a lot of shorts entering here have to have their stops above these highs, and all these equal highs, you also have liquidity from people shorting up here as well that are going to have their stops above. So if we get above here and we push this level, we could start to see a quick squeeze to the upside, and we also have this gap here, right? Fast move up, fast move down, fast move down. If we get above here, those liquidations could trigger, and we also don't have a lot of volume, right? The volume profile very likely looks almost the same as this, but you have this big gap, which we typically travel through very quickly. And for anybody who's a fan, you also potentially have a nice little head and shoulders forming here. Now, not something I would necessarily trade based off of, but if you look at this as a head and shoulders, guys, you would almost trade it exactly how I'm trading it, in my way, right? You break above the shoulder, you hit the value area low, and then you look for the push up, right? But, if you look at it from a head and shoulder standpoint, right, you have your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, you wait for the breakout of the neckline, the retest, and then you would look to enter your trade there to look for that big move to the upside. And I guess if you were to pull this technical target, where would this bring you to potentially, right? I'll just roughly pull the technical target. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give me the dang thing. This would bring you up towards the value area high and the volume point of control, which is also where your volume, this is a TPO. This is not actually showing volume, but it's showing time. But that gap again gives you the quick move. And where would you expect the resistance to come in at? Where you have that high time node, right? Or that high volume node. So, that all lines up. That all checks out, right? So we could crack this high, mark it off, 85K. We start cracking 85K, we may be able to see that squeeze. Now, just because it all looks like that does not guarantee it, right? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you have that nice head and shoulders. Again, not something I trade alone, but understanding all of this as well, we can, now look at this and be like, well, hey, we also have that head and shoulders. And we also have a lot of the liquidity sitting above. So there you go. I know it's a little crazy. I know a lot of people get really confused when they look at exo charts. They're like, what the heck is this guy looking at? It's like a complete science project. And you can even see here, like if you look at these wicks here, like, look at all these shorts, 4.7 million, 2.7 million, 1.3, 1.6, 1.2, massive imbalance. And you could just see that, all these shorts opening up. So, probably have a lot of liquidity sitting above, but that's not enough for me, guys. That's not enough for me just guessing where that liquidity is. I like to look at those heat maps. Let me take a look here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. I actually don't know. Is this going to give me trouble right now? Come on, don't give me trouble here. Let me go ahead and refresh this real quick. Come on. And I'm going to come into chat in just 1 second, guys. No, that's not what I wanted to do. God, this is so laggy. Okay. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, again, let me just look at this one more time. Bada boom, bada bing. So, yeah, you would assume that those 85K is where those stops are. Let me pull this back up. And, yeah, it's going to be hard, right, because this is a super low time frame. But if I go ahead and pull this up real quick, let me make it full screen. Come on. Bada boom. There we go, right? So we look here, right? Those equal highs right here, you can't really see it on the heat map. And again, when you get down to the lower time frames, it is really hard to sometimes see that lower time frame liquidity. Let me try to pull up the 12-hour here. Come on, there we go. So, yeah, it's really hard. You don't really have too much liquidity visible on the liquidation heat map. But bet your bottom dollar, guys, those shorts, unless we just squeeze them out, but that's a ton of shorts up there, or a ton of shorts entered in down here that could potentially put a lot of liquidity up there. Just because it's not on the heat map doesn't necessarily mean that it's not there. Again, this is very low time frame liquidity analysis. If we pull up the, let me just hide this. And we'll scroll down here, right? We still have, this is also worth noting here, right? Like really the massive liquidity. We also have liquidity, really more of the local liquidity is sitting above, where is it? Up here towards 86K, right? But if we look at the higher time frames, this liquidity down between about $80,000. Like I said, if we lose $80,000, we're likely to sweep that liquidity down to $76,000 to $73,000, $74,000, where we have our next key level of support, right? Break 80K. We have all that liquidity sitting down here. So, let it be known, just like this, we knew we had the liquidity sitting in this zone and this zone. We got the fast drops down. If you lose 80K, there is liquidity sitting here, which could give you the quick drop down to $76,000. And then once we get down there, it would be nice if we could get some bullish confirmation down here, because at that point, we had taken a huge chunk of that liquidity and we can then send it back to the upside. You can see here, we take all this liquidity out, we get a little bit of a bounce, right? 89K. This is also where we have a lot of local liquidity. Where is it? I have so many liquidation heat maps popped up. It was on the one that I just adjusted. Let me pull up the 7-day real quick. Bada boom, right? But you can see how that liquidity lines up absolutely perfectly with this, gap in our key levels. So we break this, very fast drop to the downside, and then once we sweep out that liquidity, we might be able to, send it from there. you know, we would kind of hope that we could do that after sweeping all this liquidity, but I don't know if it's done. I don't know if it's done with the way money flow looks, with the way we have the liquidity sitting down below. I do think there's a possibility we can go grab that liquidity that's lower. It is there, and it's definitely a possibility. But yeah, you can see here, right above here at about 89.5. That's really where we have that next significant spot of liquidity. Come on, load it up, load it up. There we go. There we go. So yeah, you can see like above 89-ish K, we have, you know, above equal highs liquidity resides here, guys. 89.26, you know, 89.4. That's where we have our next local liquidity. So maybe we could get that squeeze up and take some of that liquidity as well. I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would say, people shorting here at the low, all those shorts that opened here at the low, I don't know if those people put their stop loss all the way up here. That would be crazy. Maybe they did. I mean, that could be as, those other local levels I was talking about, 85K, we start breaking that, you can get the continuation of the squeeze. There is a lot of liquidity, right? We have 85 that we just looked at right here and right here. Not just, saying we think we have liquidity there. We look at the heat maps. We understand where the shorts are opening and where those people likely have their stop set, right? And we know that the shorts open because we could see it on the order flow. So, I don't know, unless maybe they have massive targets, right? A lot of people shorting that low probably think it's the bear market and we're going down to 30K, right? So in that case, that wouldn't look like a horrible trade, right? But yeah, above all those previous highs is liquidity. So, if you understand that, if we start squeezing up here, hopefully we can, right? It wouldn't be a horrible idea, right? Or a horrible thought, right? Or proposition, hypothesis to see like, boom, start stopping out the shorts, right? Boom, stop out the shorts, which could bring us right into those key levels of resistance. So that's how I'm playing it here, guys. We're just holding those shorts, holding those longs. Now we got the new long from, here. Entry is, let me see here. Entry on that is 83.4, right? Or I could just look here, right? 80. So the entry's there pretty much at the low. So we'll see if we get squeezed that up. But again, I don't have the highest hopes for this, guys. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm totally fine getting stopped out here. You can see I'm going to lose $186 if that gets stopped out. But obviously, mind you here, with our shorts that are massively in profit, I can afford to lose $180 as not only would the short continue to make me more profit, but I already have $3,400 locked in here. So, in a very, very cushy position to take some stabs at these longs. And at the end of the day, I could close it right now for $1,100 profit on the day. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. But there we go. We're going to keep looking for these trades in the premium Discord, but that's what I'm looking at here, guys. We got the fractal. We got the 2-day money flow, which does make me overall anticipate more downside, but I am open to the idea of getting a potential squeeze to the upside. Now, if we look locally at Market Cipher B, I will say this. 4-hour. Come on. 4-hour VWAP, this is kind of what I'm going to be looking for a squeeze to the upside or a continuation to the upside. If we look here at the lower time frames, come on, 5-minute, right? 5-minute money flow is crossed over into the green here. We also have an 80-minute bullish divergence forming here, or not, it's not really a pretty div here. Right? There's no real technical lower low, but your momentum is continuing up, and you did get the 80-minute bullish divergence at the actual low here, right? So that could indicate, right, if we get this money flow to come up, you have momentum trending to the upside, right? Market Cipher is all about direction, right? If money flow keeps coming up, which obviously it is on the lower time frames, momentum is continuing up as well, and I do like to see those nice divergences into a key level to mark a significant low. So that's my thought process for the continuation up. And again, if we see that 80-minute, right, while this 80-minute green dot is printing, guys, and that 5-minute money flow is crossing over into the green, this is technically a Market Cipher B116 strategy with a higher time frame green dot and a lower time frame money flow crossover. So as that green dot prints on the 80-minute, if that 5-minute money flow continues into the green here, right, there's going to be ebbs and flows, but we would expect a potential continuation to the upside. And with all that liquidity sitting above these highs, right, with the money flow coming up, with the 80-minute green dot, right? We can even come up here to some of the higher time frames. You do have the 1 hour is not higher than the 80-minute, but 1 hour green dot's confirmed. Your 2 hour also looking to print a green dot here. So there is reason to believe, right? I'm not certain 100% that we're going to continue up, but that's my thesis. That's my thought process for taking that long position, not only based off the shorts opening at the low, based off other confirmations as well, but that's my thought process to manage that trade coming up, right? I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, well, hey, we have liquidity sitting above. We have a ton of shorts open at the low. If we come to the upside, which is supported by Market Cipher, at least as of right now, for the continuation up, I want to get in on that squeeze up. And maybe we reject some of these levels. We have some levels that we're looking here for shorts in the Discord as well. But if we get the big squeeze, I want to capitalize on that move, right? That's let's say from the entries about like right here, 11%, right? That's not too bad on a $81,000 position. So we'll see what happens. I don't have the highest hopes, but that's my thought process on those trades. So keep that in mind. Fear and greed index out of 10. Imagine when we hit 73K. Yeah, the site might just go down. It's going to go into the negatives. Shout out to Nirvana. But hey, let's jump in here really quick. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He's got he's dropping the $50 super chats. Let's go. Shout out to Golden, baby. He says, Frankie on fire today. You better smash that like button because this is the best education you will ever get. I love it when Frankie goes off like this. Shout out to Golden. Yeah, I get fired up, guys. I get fired up, especially when things are trading nice and technical, right? We saw those shorts open at the low, and likely we did stop out a bunch of those shorts already, the ones with the aggressive stop losses, right? Specifically in the Discord, we were looking for a break at this high to see the continuation, and we did get it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. And again, guys, if you're learning how to trade, if you're here to learn, obviously, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell, smash the like button, help out the channel. It helps us out amazingly. You have no idea. But if you're learning how to trade, just understand, right? Like, I'm in this long position. I am not in this long position because I know for a fact that it's going to go up more, right? And again, I could close this trade right now for like $1,200 in profit. But again, I'm not in this trade because I know for a fact that we're going up. You're never, ever, ever, no matter how good you get at trading, you're never, ever, ever in your career ever going to have a 100% certainty. You might feel really good about the trade or something like that. In this case, I don't really feel great about it, but I saw those technical signals. I follow my trading rules, and I enter the trade. And I have a thesis, but I am willing to accept that this thesis can be wrong, and I do honestly think with the fact of this extreme bearish momentum that we have that, I don't think this is the low forever. I'm okay getting stopped out of this trade. Now, just to give you guys an idea here, now, again, this is I've entered this trade down here, right? This is not a signal to long Bitcoin right now. But if we do come down, I'm hoping, right, if we can crack these highs where we think we might have a lot of liquidity. Above equal highs, liquidity resides, right? If we pull up LuxAlgo really quickly, their price actions concept, shout out to LuxAlgo, their price actions concept indicator actually gives you the ability to show... Where is it? Where is it? The market structure labeling allows you to, these settings changed slightly. But they do mark out equal highs and equal lows. I don't know why mine aren't on here. I'll have to look into that because they did update and these settings changed slightly. Interesting. But yeah, there used to just be equal high and low. There we go. There we go. Let me just try to find an example here. Like right here, right? So you have it's really tiny. I got to make these I got to make the font a lot bigger. Where is it? Equal high and low size. Whoops. Normal. Bada boom, right? So you have equal highs here. So let's see if we get that, not that it's guaranteed to show you the indication. Yeah, equal lows. Yeah, they are equal highs. Obviously, it's based off of a algorithm, right? So maybe these don't qualify for the algorithm. You could change the settings. But yeah, it is nice that they do show the equal highs and equal lows because if that did pop up there, that'd be nice. You could even have that indicator on just if you don't want to like look for the equal highs and equal lows. It's nice to just have that stuff pointed out to you. But yeah, probably pop up on one of these time frames, I would assume. Bada boom, bada bing. But yeah, either way, I just wanted to show you guys. It's pretty cool. It's like one of the cool things about LuxAlgo is the price actions concepts can just show you, if you're not used to looking at market structure and just price action alone, just having that on your chart and letting it live there will help you understand how to look at market structure, right? And just raw price action, because at the end of the day, all you need is price action to trade, right? The indicators just give you a little bit of an extra edge, and that's why I love LuxAlgo. It's just like it's not like hey, we're gonna like make you rich because it's a buy and a sell signal, right? It actually teaches you how to do the TA yourself and just assists you in marking up the chart in a really simple way. But either way, above equal highs, 100% liquidity resides. So if we could maybe squeeze up here, start stopping out those shorts, I would expect a quick move into that golden pocket and that 786, right? First golden pocket, obviously, and then that 786. And I will probably be looking at some TPs up there, right? You also have your 45-minute smart trail coming down there as well. But yeah, if we could pop those equal highs, come on, stop out those shorts and push us into that golden pocket. And let me take some profit on that short. I'm sorry, long. I don't know why I keep mixing that up. Let's see. Could this be a double bottom into a W pattern? What makes the bottom? Shout out to Maha. Shout out to the 90s babies. But shout out to Maha. I mean, I don't ever look. I'll be quite honest with you, right? Like, I don't ever look at like that's a double bottom. That looks good. That's not. I mean, I would take that into maybe consideration. But like when I look for a strong bottom, I want to see like divergences, right? Just seeing like an arbitrary pattern like a double bottom is not enough for me, right? Because like it's in the trading space. There's a lot of like simple like if you ever see those TikToks, right? And it's like a guy with a notebook and he's like draws a double top and he goes, when you see that, that means it's going to go down. It's not that easy, right? Like that's not how things work because like no one wants to talk about when you get a rejection, right? It really depends on what the actual price action looks like and what's going on inside the candlesticks, what's going on the order flow, what is going on with money, what's going on with momentum, right? So like when you see a double top, like everything really depends on the context, right? Like you can see a double top, but that is not enough. That like a lot of these like TikTokers and stuff, they try to make it look as easy as like when you see a double top, oh, you just enter a short here and make $1 million. Not how it works. But it doesn't mean a double bottom is not a real thing, right? It totally is. But I just like I look at that in hindsight, right? There's no way to like look at a double bottom like as it's forming here and being like that looks good. What I like to look for is discrepancies, right? I like to see lower lows on price action, whether it's to the wick or the bodies, right? With momentum coming up, making higher lows, right? That lets me know. That's not just like an arbitrary pattern. That's letting me know price is coming down as momentum is coming up. That's a discrepancy between your price action and your momentum, which is what actually calls for the continuation to the reversal to the upside. Almost ate my microphone. The reversal to the upside. So I don't really pay attention to like double bottoms or anything like that. Again, it's not that they're not real or like they're fugazi or anything like that. You just can't trade based off them, right? So I need to see an actual information, right? So in this case, it was the longs entering at the low, the liquidity above, and also low time frame bullish divergences, right? And again, this shows me that price is coming down, and you can see Lux Algo marking this out perfectly, with that divergence line here, letting you know you have lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum. Right? So that's that actual discrepancy that makes a high likelihood of a continuation up. Because at the end of the day, you could get like a double bottom, right? And it looks like a double bottom, but then you just wind up consolidating and breaking. That's just not how I look at price action. It's not realistic. It's like not that easy, right? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, could this be a double bottom? Maybe. But it really depends. Like what I would like to see to really call that a double bottom, right? Or a strong bottom, I should say, is I would want to see like nice divergences, which you did pretty much have here. You did have here on the body sticks of your candles here on the 1 hour, lower lows, higher lows, right? Your momentum's coming back up as your price action's coming down. So I would look at the divergence as a strong bottom. At the end of the day, to be honest, if I saw like an equal bottom, right? Like a double bottom with equal lows, I would actually not like that as a low, right? I would like to see the lower low on price action as long as momentum's coming up, right? Because if you start to get like a double bottom, right, and then a triple bottom, right, really what you're doing is forming a range, very likely, right, depending on what your price action looks like when it comes up. And when you have a range like this and people are longing at the bottom of the range, it puts liquidity below, which makes it like even more likely that you're going to break those lows. So hopefully that, could it be a double bottom? Yeah, but you're not really going to know that until you actually break out. So yeah, that's hopefully it helps you out. Let's see. Bada boom. Shout out to Oscar. Thank you for getting that membership, bro. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Hitmen. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Tell Jorgensen. Shout out to you, bro. Said I started my account yesterday with $2,500 and at $15,700 right now. Shout out to Tell. Congratulations, bro. Let's go. Let me know. How did you? What trades were you in? What were you looking at? Let me know. Yeah. Shout out to you, bro. Congrats. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. BTC boss says a theory here. First sweep to the upside to make everyone bullish again and create late longs. Also would give bullish monthly candle to then quickly sweep all the longs at 75K. Shout out to BTC boss. Definitely a probable situation. Kind of like what if we do get the squeeze here, it's kind of what would happen here, right? Like we went up and then we went back down and then now we're getting all those shorts again, right? All that short liquidity back above to fake them all out. This whole market is wrecking people, right? The market likes to cause as much pain for as many people as possible, right? But what do? We wait to see what everyone's doing, AKA wait for everybody essentially to short the market, right? Open interest comes up, shorts come up, right? And we just counter trade that. And again, guys, at the end of the day, right, I know a lot of people might look at this and say like, well, dude, you're up $1,200. Why don't you just take that and run? I totally could, right? But at the end of the day, I'm sticking to the trading plan that I have. And, you know, if I saw something crazy on the chart, maybe I would close it. But at the end of the day, right, like you don't need this massive move up to make a bunch of money, right? Like we could just cash out here. And I also want to point out here, guys, to make $1,100, $1,200 at that $2,000, you know, it takes a long time to get here. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I think a lot of people might look at that and be like, well, yeah, Frank, you're probably trading with a ton of money, right? This is the beauty of leverage trading, right? Now, again, leverage trading is not just to increase your if you're just getting here and you see leverage, your eyes are going to light up and you're going to be like, I could just put $1,000 in and then use 100x leverage, which you could do, right? But you still have to manage the risk correctly. But at the end of the day, guys, like I only have $1,600 of my own capital in this trade, right? And it's an $87,000 position. You don't need, right? You don't need, like a lot of people might say, like, well, especially if you're new here, you don't know how leverage works. You know, well, yeah, well, dude, you're in an $87,000 position. But I don't need to put, I mean, I could put $87,000 on that, but I don't have to, right? I only have $1,600 in that trade, and I'm using their leverage. I'm borrowing money from the exchange to increase the position size. But be careful. Be careful, because that does not mean that I just put $1,600 into the trade and then I make it an $87,000 position, and if I get stopped out, I'm going to lose $1,600. That's not how it works, right? I just showed you if I get stopped out, I'm going to lose $182, right? Which is nothing. In the grand scheme of my account. I'm not saying it's nothing in general. $187 is a lot of money, right, to a lot of people. But you know, like I think there's a misconception. In order to make a lot of money off a small move, you need to have tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's simply not the case. And leverage is totally fine to increase your position size, right, as long as you're using good risk management. You're only risking 1% per trade. It's not gambling. If someone says leverage trading is gambling, they just don't know what they're talking about, right? And I don't say that with any kind of hate at all. That's just the truth, right? If you think leverage trading is gambling, you're just simply not informed on how trading really works, right? So keep that in mind, right? Like you don't need a ton of money to make a ton of money when you trade the way we trade. And I am not pushing you to go use leverage and gamble. Watch our YouTube. Go to the beginner series if you're new here, and watch our leverage trading tutorial. I think it's called the only leverage trading tutorial you'll ever need. I cover everything you need to understand to leverage trade the right way and not gamble while you're trading. Go check that out. Hey, shout out to Golden Bro. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said thank you for thank you for all that in-depth education, Frankie. I have to consider a couple of the things I just learned from you when planting this Golden Swan event. I didn't think about a short squeeze, lol. Shout out to Golden, baby. There we go. You're dropping the Golden Swan events, and we're dropping some Golden Sauce. So you can do a Golden Swan event. Guys, if Bitcoin rips up to 100K overnight, I think we might be able to call that a Golden Swan event. Let's see. And I do want to take a look at some of the altcoins here too as well, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that and share with you guys what we're looking at on the trades right now. We're sitting. Can you share a link for that, please? Shout out to Kembro, or maybe shout out to oh no, that's a different video. Shout out to Kembro. I thought you just front ran me on that video. Kem, if you could grab the it's in the beginner series, like the only leverage tutorial you need. If you could drop that link in here as well, that will probably help out a lot of people. But anyway, let's go, baby. Hopefully we and guys, just because we have the liquidity above, I just want to be clear here, right? Like I am it doesn't guarantee we have to take that liquidity. We still need to push above these. I would say we need to push above these highs here, right? I would say 85K. We start breaking 85K, we may be able to squeeze into the retracement levels just like yesterday, right? But be careful. This is still resistance. I'm taking profit, moving my stop loss to break even at this level if we get up there. Because if we're going to continue to put in aggressive lower highs and continuations down, this might be the area to do it. So just keep that in mind. But there you go, guys. That's what I'm looking at for the most part on Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. If we get stopped out, we'll get stopped out. If not, if we do, shorts continue to pay. If not, then we capitalize on that long. And the great thing here is at the end of the day, we're short from so much higher that like even if this continues up, we'll have a nice opportunity to just add to the short positions for the drop back down if that does occur. And again, you know, if you're here, I know not everybody's trying to scout these little moves, even though that's all we need, right? Like, again, I am in that position right now with $1,600. Again, not risking $1,600. If I get stopped out, I lose 187, right? But if you know, that's all we really need, right? Like people think you need to catch these huge moves, and when we do, it's great, right? We're up like 15, almost 16 grand on these short positions, but the or maybe closer to 14 grand. I counted it up last night, and I actually have a tip for you guys in a second, but I just lost my train of thought. Oh, all we need are these little moves, right? Like we don't need a massive rip to the upside to make a bunch of money. And you don't, and again, you might think like, well, yeah, but you need a ton of money to make this move make you a lot of money, but it's not true, right? And maybe $1,600 is a lot of money to you, and that's totally fine. But just keep that in mind, right? Like all you got to do is find this, right? Technically, right? I'm not saying for you to open a position just like this, but I'm just saying like if you have $1,600 that you can use as margin, not risk on one trade, right? Not lose it if you lose the trade. But if you have $1,600, that you can put into an account and throw on a trade, right? You can make $1,200, $1,500 on a tiny move like this, right? And for a lot of people, I know that could replace your job, right? I know for a lot of people that could replace at least or add at least a lot of extra income. Right, that could change a lot of people's lives. And you're not going to catch a move every single day. You're not going to win all your trades. But I just want to put that in perspective because, like, when I started trading, I used to think that, like, if I wanted to make 5K a day, 10K a day, whatever it was, 2K a day, you needed to catch, like, these monster moves, right? Like, you don't really, right? That's the beauty of leverage trading, right? And as long as you're managing the risk properly, you could make a lot of money. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Golden giving those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's get it. Let's get it. The absolute GOAT. Shout out to Golden. Unbelievable. Drop those golden emojis in the chat if you just got a membership. Come on, baby. Come on. Give everybody a membership. Let's get it. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Pratham said bulls crouch down before they attack. Bear stands up before it attacks. Have this in mind at all times. Absolutely. I love that. But there we go. All right, so we're going to take a look at some of the altcoins, guys. I'm going to jump into chat and make sure I'm not missing anything good here. If anyone has any questions or anything like that. Shout out to Tell said, I used leverage and wasn't delusional about the charts. In and out with targeted approach, not being emotional. 8 out of 10 of my trades were in Sol. Shout out to Tell. Let's go, baby. Nice work. That's what I like to hear, bro. What platform can you get this set up on? I assume you mean like the charting platform. This is TradingView. I have a whole masterclass on how to use this in the beginner series as well. This YouTube channel is a complete and total free trading course, guys. I wouldn't say complete and total, but it's like a beginner's trading course. Let's see. What do you recommend for TPs or of the current long? A lot of levels above. Any general rule? Should I TP at the top of the fibs? Yeah, for me, I could just tell you what I'm doing. Like for me, if I bring up this actual, let me see here real quick. I'll just bring it up new, right? So like this, I'm in somewhere down here, right? So I'd be looking at, obviously my stop loss is not down there. My stop loss is super tight. My stop loss is at 83,198. So my entry's got to be a little higher than that. 83,198 or 188 there. The entry is at 83,3. Yeah, so yeah. It's like, that's the thing too, is like the risk to reward on this is insane, right? Like I was risking $182, and if we hit our first TP, or at least just say as of right now, the trade is up $1,300 now, right? So I risked 182 for more than $1,300, right? Probably get closer to 2K up in here, maybe more. Hard to do that math, but so yeah, the risk to reward is just to show you guys, like I can lose 100 of these trades before it eats into any of the profit that I have open right now. But yeah, my first major target here, right? I actually did have a local target, which was a high volume node, but really like the main targets I'd be looking at this point would be 85,328 into the 786 at 86K. Remember, if we break 85K, we could get that squeeze to the upside. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at. Hopefully we can get it, right? It's not a guarantee. But yeah, we'll see. Again, great risk to reward here. So I'm like totally fine losing this trade, getting stopped out, and having the shorts continue to pay us out. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Ventura Slim. That's got to be V-Slim, right? Let me know, Ventura. You got to be V-Slim, bro. Shout out to V-Slim, an absolute OG of the channel. Says, I'm going to open up my Themex account again and only use high leverage. Thanks, Frankie. You could use high leverage, V-Slim. There's nothing wrong with high leverage as long as you're managing the risk. I say this all the time, and I will say it again. Whether I am in a 100x trade or a 1x trade, I am always going to be risking the same amount on each trade. So if I'm in a 100x trade or a 20x trade or a 50x trade, the only thing that changes is how much margin I need to open that trade. It does not increase my risk. I repeat, when I open a 100x trade, that is 0% riskier than a 1x trade. If you're thinking to yourself, this guy's crazy, a 100x trade is definitely riskier than a 1x trade, go watch that tutorial. Let's see. Solana, please, do you think it will go to $100? Shout out to Crypto, man. Shout out to you, brother. Wait, Golden's last super chat. Did I miss a super chat? Golden sent shout out to Golden, bro. Oh, and Creighton C. Hang on, guys. Let me just get through these super chats, and then we'll take a look at some of the alts. Frankie called me after the stream. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. I may have time, Golden. I may have to either call you way later or I may have to call you tomorrow. I'll shoot you a message on Discord as soon as I get off the stream. But shout out to Golden. Oh God, are we gonna do the gold? It's gonna be a golden pump, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chats, bro. But yeah, I'll message you right after this. And shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. Said, where did her hand go when you looked down and said, "Look at this"? Yo. Nobody clipped that. Somebody's gonna clip that now. Creighton said, "Do I want to know? This is not that kind of stream. This is a family-friendly show that has a blow-up doll and big red candles." Wait. Shout out to Creighton C, bro. That's pretty funny. I was looking down. Too funny. Now, real quick, guys, I'm going to take a look at Solana. I'm going to take a look at Ethereum right now. But real quick, I just want to talk to you guys. If you're out there, this is just a little bonus tip. And the reason I bring this up is because I do this from time to time, and it's going to sound absolutely crazy. You're going to think I'm a lunatic, but it really does help. If you're out there and you're struggling with taking profit on your trades, I highly recommend go online, right? Go online and go buy some prop cash. Go buy some prop cash, buy some 20s, some 50s, some 100s. Right? You get it on Amazon, you get it everywhere, right? Get some prop cash and keep it where you trade. And when you're up in a trade, grab your money and count out the actual cash that you're up on the trade, right? So for me, for example, I'm up, we'll just say 13.28, right? So I would grab some of these hundreds and I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? And then I grab that money and I hold that money and I feel that money and I look at it and I count it and I feel it and I touch it. I'm like, if someone came up to me right now and just walked up and handed me this money, because if you find, this is a big problem that a lot of people have, and I had it a lot too. If you have trouble taking profit because you're hoping for higher, you have to think to yourself, put it in physical form. Count the money. Feel it. Shuffle through it. Whether it's $20, $50, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is, right? And then just say to yourself, if someone came up to me and handed me this cash, would I take it and put it in my pocket? Or would I put it into, would I risk it for more, right? And a lot of the times you might be like, well, hey, let me peel off a little bit of it. I'm going to take a little bit and I'll leave this in, right? And that's a really good idea. I think it's kind of like an abstract tip and an abstract strategy. But after a while, especially once you start getting into bigger position sizes, guys, the numbers become numbers on a screen, right? You start to get detached from the money. And I personally, as I started to, on all different, I have 40 different accounts, not really 40, but I have a ton of different trading accounts with different position sizes for the YouTube channel, the business, all different situations. But when you start using bigger position sizes, you start to get detached from the money, especially when you get good at trading. Your emotions start to leave. You really start to get detached from the money, which is a great thing. But it's not great when you should be paying yourself when you're in the green. So, when you're up, shout out to Tell, I think was the name. If you're up 15K, this is about 15K, right? If you're sitting there and it's all unrealized, right? Remember, the money's not yours until you take it. Right? And you're sitting there, and maybe that's a lot of money to you. Maybe it's a little money to you. I don't know your situation. But, if you hit a big trade and that's a lot of money, put that, right? Put that into perspective. Start looking through that money. Start counting that money. Flip through and just be like, wow, man, this is if someone handed me half of this, I would take it, right? Maybe take partial profits. This is a weird, abstract thing that actually did help me a lot in many cases. And I actually had to do it last night a little bit because I was up a lot across all my accounts on unrealized profit, and I was just like, man, I already took profit, but I should take more. Let me feel it out. And I did it, and I decided to take some more profit, and it was really all because of this. It seems stupid, it seems silly, but it works. I can only share with you guys what works for me. And yes, you can get prop cash for like $1. It's very cheap. But anyway, shout out to High Def said, I'm detached, bro. Let's go. Sometimes I'm detached from reality. Let's see. No one ever went broke taking profits. Absolutely. Listen, guys, hitting a big trade. I was talking to the premium Discord about this. Hitting a huge trade is great, right? Hitting a monster trade is great. But I always say this, right? Garrett Soloway said this on my live stream when we had him on a while ago. He said, singles and doubles will make you a millionaire. Going for home runs and grand slams all the time will make you broke. And I never lived by that rule because I didn't think of it that way. But I always lived by doing that. Or I didn't always. But once I started doing that, I really started finding success. And ever since he said that to me, it really stuck with me. And it's a great way to say it. Singles and doubles. You can always let the winner run, right? You could take half the money off, right? You're like, all right, let me take this and I'll leave this in. And then, you have your profit locked in. You made money. No matter what happens, you're going to be happy. And you also have some in the trade too. So you can let that continue to run. And so not only you're like, trading is amazing, right? And the reason it's not gambling is because you can manage the bankroll. Because if you have the beauty of being able to take half the profit and while also leaving some in, so you are locking in profits and also keeping open the opportunity to hit an absolute grand slam. And this is what we do all the time. I've done this many times, even live on stream, or the trades that I show here live on stream, where it's like, hey guys, profits locked in. Like I'm in that short, right? I have, maybe like 8,000 on the accounts that I show here, locked in profits, maybe 7,000, something like that. And, if we stop out of those shorts somehow, we rip back up into this macro range, right? Great. I'll make a bunch of money, right? If not, I can just sit here and continue to capitalize on that move to the downside. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. But just remember, consistent profits every day are always gonna outwork and out profit you going for home runs and grand slams every single time. So keep that in mind. At the end of the day, sometimes after trading for long enough, you'll realize, right? Like, hey man, like, how many trades do you have to see go up to $1,000, $2,000, whatever the number is for you guys, right? Like $200, $300 in profit. How many times do you need to see a trade go into $200 or $300 in profit and then stop you out for nothing? And then you think to yourself, like, man, I should have just taken that off the table. If I did that, once you start becoming consistently profitable with your TA, right? Meaning that you're right more than you're wrong and the risk management is there. Once you start being right a lot, right? And you're confident in your analysis, that doesn't mean you're a good trader, right? You still have to pay yourself. You still have to take the profits. You still have to set your stop losses, right? And even if you are setting your stop losses, if you're not taking profit off the table, you're never making money, right? So, don't get into a situation where you're like, start to get good at analysis, right? And you start really making good calls consistently, and then you're just letting the profit go up, and you're like, great, let me turn this into a home run. And then you get stopped out for a small loss. Great, you're getting stopped out for a small loss. You're managing the risk, but you're not paying yourself, right? And eventually you're going to look back. This is what I did. I look back and I'll be like, man, if I had just not gone for a home run and I just closed that little trade for $100 in profit, like back in the day, for the past couple of weeks, I'd be up a couple $1,000, right? Instead, I'm break even because I never pay myself. So just remember that. I know grand slams are fun and, they are fun when they happen, but let them hit you by surprise. Take that profit because you don't have to close the whole trade. Take that partial profit and stay in the game. Sure, you're not going to make as much as if you held the whole position, but that's okay. You're making money. Remember, the game is to make money, not go for a grand slam or make as much money as possible, right? It's to consistently make money. Shout out to Aziz said, Frankie, I'm having trouble moving my stop loss to the break even. Should I be 50% between then current price and entry or pull local fibs? Can you show an example of the current Bitcoin long? So for me personally, like, it really depends on where your entry is, right? So my entry's down here. At this point, right, I could probably move my stop loss to break even right now, but I really like to take profit before I really do that. But right now I can move my stop. All right, boom, I just move my stop loss to break even, right? So and it's really cool. Like, I mean, really, a lot of the exchange, any exchange you really use will be able to do this. You could just kind of like drag your stop losses around, right? So I had it like down here for $187 loss, and I just moved it to break even, right? So now I'm at break even. You could just do it like that, no big deal. But for the most part, really what I like to do is I like to hit my first major target, which in this point is going to be the golden pocket. So you hit that golden pocket, and then I'll move my stop loss to break even. But really what you could do, I think the thing you're struggling with is like knowing when are you safe to move your stop loss to break even. And yeah, you could pull a fib, right? If you pulled from like here to here, or I'm sorry, let me go to a lower time frame, right? So I would pull from like a local low to a local high, right? And you can see we didn't even come down and test this. Like once you start breaking that structure to the upside, you know, you can move your, like at this point, right? Once price breaks this high, like this is a, like this low is very likely, you know, if it gets broken, I want to get stopped out of the trade anyway. So like at this point, it really depends. There's many ways to do it. But for me personally, like I like to hit the first target. So if I hit this first target, I would move my stop loss to break even. And then, you know, once you start continuing your market structure, right? Maybe you go boom, 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 right? Once you start doing that, you could start to like move your stop loss into profit, right? Because you could think like, hey, we've made a low, a higher low, a higher low, a low, a higher low, a low, a high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? At that point, you have these like protected lows that you can then move your stop loss below, right? Then you can move your stop loss into profit, and then it moves up some more. You can move your stop loss into profit again, right? And then you could kind of just trail that stop loss up. But you do want to have it protected a little bit, right? Like mine's pretty protected at this point, right? Because at this point, if I were to come back down, I could potentially put a higher low in here. That's crazy that lined up. Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty protected. But it really depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on a lot of personal stuff. But for me, that's what I like to do. I like to hit that first target, take some profit off the table, and then move my stop loss. And the reason for that, I talk about this in that leverage trading tutorial. The reason I do that is because if I take profit off the table and then move my stop loss to break even, I've guaranteed myself a winning trade. Right now, this is not a guaranteed winning trade because I did not take profit. Now, is it a risk-free trade? Absolutely. I'm in a situation right now where I will lose zero money other than like a small fee, right? This is risk-free. If Bitcoin goes to $85,330, I could close that trade for profit, right? A guaranteed winning trade. If it goes against me, I stop out for no loss, right? But the reason I like to take profit first is because if I lock in, say, $1,000 here, move my stop loss to break even, now I can go to sleep, and I'm either going to wake up with way more profit, or I'm going to wake up to being stopped out for $1,000 profit. It's guaranteed. It's the only way to get into a guaranteed winning trade is to wait for it to go into profit, take profit off the table, move your stop loss to break even. So find your target. In my opinion, this is what I do. I find my target. I take partial profits. I move my stop loss, making it a guaranteed winning trade. So there you go. But anyway, let's take a look at Ethereum here, guys. I'm getting a little sidetracked. But again, a lot of altcoins. You know, I'm not really that interested in looking at a lot of the altcoins right now, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, overall, Ethereum's in the same situation it's been in, right? We'll come over to the daily, right? We have our overall volume profile, our macro volume profile from the 2021 bull market, right? Bing bong, we lose it. This is undervalued, accumulate in the bear market, get back into the range, shoot up to the high, deviate above, back in, back to the POC. Front ran the low slightly there, back above the POC, back to the high, deviation, back into the range, back to the POC, and just front ran the low again. I'll be honest with you. I'm feeling the same way that I feel about Bitcoin I feel the same way about Ethereum that I do Bitcoin, right? Do I think we can get a continuation up? Yes. And to be honest, we talked about this yesterday. I do see a situation where we see Bitcoin continue to dump, where maybe the altcoins, right? If Bitcoin dumps and dominance is dumping at the same time, that would be somewhat of a good sign. I do think there is a weird situation. It's not typically what we see, but I do think there is a situation where we see Bitcoin pull back and continue to the downside, where altcoins can just continue to come up. And we are keeping a close eye on the dominance. I'm not going to go over it right now because we've gone over it a lot in the recent streams, but keeping a close eye on that dominance. But again, like, we're just waiting for this to play out here, guys. This is the same thing we've been looking at forever. So if you tune into the live streams daily, you will know, right? We look to come into this golden pocket 786. Really what I wanted to see here was a daily bullish divergence. And we are getting closer and closer to forming it, right? VWAP is now coming up. We didn't have this yesterday. We had the VWAP kind of just hanging out down here. Now the VWAP is coming up. Money flow still looks but if we can get that daily bullish divergence to print, now again, remember this, that daily bull div is probably going, by the time that prints, you're probably already getting a move up. So you probably want to keep an eye on like lower time frame divs, right? So like your entries really want to be on like lower time frames like this, because you would have gotten a much better entry here. But at the end of the day, right, like if you get that daily bullish divergence, I think that's where you get the bigger move up on Ethereum. But again, you know, based off our money flow, 2-day money flow is already crossing over into the red on ETH. So, you know, I'd still have to look at this. You know, once you get the push to the upside, if you do, you know, you're below that value area low, right? So that could be a strong area to reject. But once you get it back into the range, I'd still be looking for lower highs and lower lows based off the higher time frame money flow. Unless we see a situation where Bitcoin continues to dump and then ETH just rips out of here and the alt season starts. I just don't know if we're there yet. Guys. We need QE to come in. Absolutely 100%. So we'll see what happens. We're seeing that bull dip form pretty nicely. 12 and 16 hours probably going to print those signals sooner, right? So you have a slight bullish divergence looking to print on the 12-hour here. I mean, I'll be honest, like this is a pretty good risk to reward, to be honest. Like if you were able to get that 12-hour bull div and you could get some low time frame entry signals, pretty low risk to reward, right? Or a good risk to reward, I should say, right? Because like let's say you get in here, right? Like stop loss below the low, depending on your position size. Like if you can get a try to see a lower time frame entry here. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get another drop down. But at the end of the day, right, if you were looking at this as like at least a move into the value area low, right, or even the lows of this range, 13%. I mean, it's pretty good risk to reward. And again, you would want to get a lower time frame entry. At this point, they've kind of already come and gone, right? Like you have the low time frame bullish divergences, right? Lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. So, you kind of already got those low time frame entries. But we'll see. If you could reclaim that 786 and get that daily bull div to print, I think that's what I'm looking for the bigger move to the upside. But I would still be very careful for lower highs and lower lows to come in. Yeah, I wish we had better confluence here on the value area low, that range. We really don't. But yeah, I would be careful. If you do get the bigger bounce here, I'd be careful. 7/8 value area low at $2,500. Key resistance. Get above that value area low. Look to run into, again, this previous little local volume profile. Similar to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin kind of had that wonky volume profile locally, right? This would be another good local areas to look at, right? Lows, highs. You could use that. You probably have confluence, I think, on this golden pocket value area low situation here. Yeah. So you do have pretty good confluence here. Let me pull an anchored VWAP on this thing too. Pull it from this high. Yeah, I would say like these are the levels I'd look at for ETH if you get the bigger bounce, right? That's if. That's a big if. But if that daily bull div prints, value area low key, next big key level resistance, $2,500. And then the value area low anchored VWAP golden pocket POC sitting between $2,648 and about $2,600. Get above that, value area high 786 is your next level. Come on. Right? So these are your local levels that I'd be looking at. But for the most part, I don't want to confuse everybody with if you want to screenshot these levels, I'll mark them off so you guys can get them on your chart. Right? Let's mark off those zones. Right? But you can pause it here and grab those levels. However, I will say I'd be probably paying more attention to the bigger levels, which would be the value area high. I mean, I guess that golden pocket would still be key, especially because it's got that confluence. So I guess that pretty much, I guess those levels pretty much remain the same. And let me see, where does our bigger anchored VWAP come in at? Boom. Yeah, comes in at the bigger gold. Yeah, we have. Or it doesn't need to be updated. So, yeah, at the end of the day, these are local levels. And, again, in an aggressive downtrend, right, lower highs, if we're going to come back down to about $2,000, which we have our next key level at, right, definitely the key levels. 1, 2. Sure, you could shoot up to the bigger levels, but I don't know. In an aggressive downtrend, it does look a little bit more likely to potentially get a little bing bong or a bing bong. But again, those targets remain exactly the same. If we pull up the larger range, right, macro value area, we're pretty much just in this larger volume profile, right? So if we don't reclaim that 786, which is almost beautiful, which is perfectly confluent with the POC, that's your doorway to get that little retracement, where I would be careful around those resistance levels. If you just get stuck under this POC right now, that's where I'm looking down here. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little retracement here, if I'm being quite frank with you. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I would really be looking at. 90-minute bull div, 1 hour bull div, 4 hour technical bullish divergence. So yeah, your goal is to get above that POC, but watch the key levels of resistance on the way up. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's take a look at Solana. Let's take a look at Solana real quick. Solana, I mean, not really too much to update here on the alts, guys. They're just kind of still sitting in the same situation. And a lot of this stuff is likely going to weigh unless we get that situation where Bitcoin dumps, dominance dumps with it, and the altcoins run. I don't know. We're just still kind of sitting down here, right? Like key levels down below. We bearishly retested the POC. We got to get above that POC in 786 again to see the bigger push up to our bigger level of resistance. Still remains between 161.74 and 170.52. And key levels of support down below. We actually did tap the daily this time, which is nice. So maybe you do all that daily. But if we can't get above this POC, I'm still looking to come a little bit lower here. And the fact that we have the value area low in the daily confluence down here between 126 and 124, I would still like that bigger drop down here to the daily value area low. The 8-hour VWAP above the 0 line. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really beautiful here on these alt charts for a lot of them. Let's see. Audio sounds good on my end. You're cutting in and out, Frankie. Me too. Let's see. Interesting. I don't know. Audio shouldn't be cutting out. Testing. It should be good. The audio should be fine. That'd be unless we have a loose connection. Let me test here. Yeah, we should be good. All right, let's see. Shout out to Cheeks. Shout out to Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Cheeks said, I really appreciate that tip for taking profits. I'm going to make it a habit to implement that. I've followed you nearly 2 years, and still struggle to TP. It has caused me to miss out on so many gains, and I'm sick of it. Shout out to Cheeks. That's the point that I got to. That is the point that I got to. I just got bored. I got bored of being like, I'm right most of the time, but I'm just not making money. So what do I have to do? Why am I not making money? And the only answer I could give myself was that I just wasn't taking the money off the table when it was there. That's the biggest thing I struggled with, and that really comes from greed. Right, that really just comes from greed, which is the strongest emotion. That's the strongest emotion in trading, in my opinion. It's worse than fear, for me personally. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Golden said, of course, when Tony D goes on vacation, Frankie starts having technical problems. Absolutely. Let's see. Help says, Cheeks, imagine thinking we'll go to 75K. That's what the markets want you to think. Shout out to Help. Yeah, imagine, did Cheeks say it was going to 75K? Yeah, I would say the only thing that I would not want to imagine is imagining that something is 100% going to happen, right? Thinking it is 75K possible? Absolutely 100% it is possible. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. There is no that is the only thing that you want to avoid. The only thing you want to avoid is thinking that one thing is certain when another thing is not. So yeah, I mean, again, for me personally, at least on Bitcoin here, right, I am in the long, right? $87,000 long from the low. But I am fully aware that things could go down as well, right? So I'm holding my shorts from much higher. So that's why I like trading, because you can hedge yourself in both directions. So we keep ripping, long keeps paying, and we already locked in profits on the shorts, and if we dump, we continue to profit on the shorts. But to think that $75,000 is impossible to hit, that's where people, like when people say, we're 100% not going to 75K, we're 100% definitely going to 75K, that is the only mistake, right? When people are new to markets or just new to crypto or markets in general, people think that there's certainty, which is the biggest beginner mistake when it comes to looking at any kind of financial market. Any real trader, any person who really makes money trading, even professional traders who work on like Wall Street will tell you, they'll be the first people to tell you, the big boys will tell you that, like unless they're really controlling it. Having certainty is an instant death wish in this market. So if you ask me, is 75K incoming? I don't know, right? But I have a plan if it does, to make money. If it goes up, I have a plan for that as well. Actually, it's not even a plan. I just, we're just in the trades. But yeah, just like knowing for a fact, right? Like if anyone's out there thinking like you are definitely not, you could have an opinion, right? Like you can have an opinion. I think it's more likely to come down here and you can adjust your plan accordingly. But to think that something is 100% not going to happen, right? Like everybody here, well, 100% we were never going to break 90K, right? And then what happens, right? Like we wind up breaking 90K. So it's like once you see that confidence in the market, that's usually, or once you see somebody being like super confident that like something's definitely not going to happen, it's really just a gamble at the end of the day. But yeah, shout out to, let's see, shout out to High Def. It's a measured move playing out with indicators not changing. Shout out to High Def. Let's see. High Def says the indicators though, end patterns. Shout out to High Def. I need more context. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. It's a measured move playing out with the indicators not changing. If top is 40K is coming though, right? Shout out to High Def. I mean, if it's the bull market top, if the top is in at 110K, I would say, I mean, it's kind of hard, right? So, last cycle we assumed that my bottom call was between 12 and 14K. That was what I was looking for. I was looking for weekly bullish divergences with money flow coming up between 12 and 14K. We got it pretty dang close. You're never going to get it to the tick, right? But we got, what would it come down to? 15, mid-15s. So pretty close. We did get the weekly bullish divergences with money flow coming up. But it's very hard, right? Like my thought process for the previous bear market was that we were going to come down to, retest the previous all-time highs. Which in this case, would bring you down closer to, and it's not a guarantee that you're going to come, you're going to hold those all-time highs, right? The idea here, right? And again, sure, my thought was that we were going to put in weekly, put in the low at 12 to 14K. And a thought there was, hey, we come back down and retest those previous highs because that's your next key level of support, right? It was really nothing here until that high, right? This is all just like open. This is all just open candles. Like there's just huge volume gap there, right? So once you break it, you're expecting a quick drop down. And we got that exactly. But at the end of the day, right, as someone who understands how the market works, I've been doing this for years, right? When I look at this, I say, hey, I think that between 12 and 14K could be the bottom of the bear market. But I'm not saying 12 to 14K is the bottom 100%. You're an idiot if you're buying at 15K. And that's why I say, like, when you see people coming in being like, shout out to Help. I don't know if he was shouting out Pennywise or calling people clowns for thinking that 75 can come in. Imagine if you come down here and you're like, you're a clown if you think that it's going to bounce at 15K. I'm not buying until 12K. Right? Well, then what happens? You wind up buying higher, right? So when I came down here and called for 12 to 14K, I was not 100% not calling people stupid for buying down here. I wasn't sitting down here being like, I'm waiting till 12K. You guys are buying high. You guys are buying high. I know you're not going to catch the bottom exactly. So I was DCAing in all down here, right? And then if we drop down to 12K, I would drop another bag, right? And the fact of the matter is, just because I thought the bottom was going to come in here does not mean that it was going to come in, right? We just, it wound up being the case that we believed, right? We had most things pointing towards the bottom being in here. And it wound up being right. But there was totally a chance of that being wrong. Even though more things were pointing up than down, this could have been wrong, right? I just happened to be right in that situation. And if we did come down, where was I looking? I wasn't just guessing 12 to 14K. I said, hey, where's the next structural support, right? Well, it's coming in down here at about 12K, right? And even if you were to pull some, like maybe if you, I don't know, I never really looked at this volume profile. Well, there you go. Your value area high would be the next thing I'd be looking at about 12K, right? So it's shout out to Pennywise, everybody's favorite clown, friendly clown, loves balloons for some reason. I don't know why. There's reasons, right? And it's always an if this then that statement, right? That's why you guys never see me getting emotional or very like 100% certain. It's not because I'm not certain in my skills. Trust me, if there's one thing I have confidence in, it's my technical analysis. But I just understand how markets move. So if you're coming from the aspect of like if you see anybody, right? And I see, mostly on Instagram, because I think it's like much more toxic on Instagram and TikTok. It's like I see like someone who comes up, starts talking about crypto. There's this one guy. What's his name? I forget his name. There's this one guy that is always just like, he actually knows how the market moves, right? Like he understands that he could be wrong and he's going to change his, like he actually understands how things work. And like, there's just people in the comments who probably got into crypto yesterday and they're like, this guy's a clown. I actually think he was calling for 80K or 85K. and he's just responding to the comments, and he's like, here's my video from the other week, and there's a comment that's like, this guy's a clown. He thinks, imagine being so dumb that you think that we're going down. And it's just like, he's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, I didn't know it was definitely going to happen, but the signs were there. So I looked at it and it happened. So it's like, once you start seeing that, like, that's the biggest telltale sign to me, that somebody's new. Doesn't have a lot of experience in the market, is that they think like, they probably hear an influencer saying this level will never break, right? Like nobody knows if that level's going to break, and then those people get super confident, they get super emotional. It's like a biggest telltale sign of someone who's new, which is great. Because that's the beginning of the best journey, hopefully, of your life, especially if it's for trading. Let's see. Creighton says that's because you're very good at it. Thank you, Creighton. I appreciate you. I wasn't always great at it. You should see. I should actually post my screenshots from 2016 in my crypto group chat. I was Frankie Candles before I was Frankie Candles, guys. But I will tell you this: the charts that I was posting were quite cringy. It was like, it's like you go back in time and you're just like, wow, man, I thought I was so good and I had no idea what was going on. But it's a learning process. If you don't cringe at your prior self, you're not growing, right? I cringe at myself yesterday. I'm cringing at myself right now. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here. Frankie giving away all the sauce. All set, absolutely. Because listen, the reason I talk about this stuff, guys, is because it's just like, I'll be honest, guys, we have like so little hate that I feel so lucky, right? But like, I'm not going to lie. I was getting pissed last night looking at that guy responding to comments. I wanted to be like, dude, don't respond to that guy. He clearly has no idea what he's doing. And it just goes to show, like, I feel so bad. Like it's so, like, it's arrogance. Is arrogance the word? Like, I guess arrogance. What's the exact definition of arrogance? It's like just like thinking you're right when you have like no reason to think it. Or like maybe like naivety. I don't know how you say that word. It's like people are just so like, they're just like, yeah, this is never going to break. And then like you dig a little bit, you're like, why do you think it's 100% not going to break? Well, this guy said it's not going to break. And it's like, what makes you think that guy knows? And then like the more you learn, once you actually understand how the market works, you look back on all that stuff and you're like, I can't believe I ever listened to an influencer. Like it's like, don't listen to anybody. You have to make your own plan, because at the end of the day, like you could be right about something, right? Like you could learn my technical analysis, but you might see something that I'm not looking at, and like maybe your confluence comes in. Right now, obviously, we are way more right. We are right way more than we're wrong, right? We come up here every day, but at the end of the day, like I always tell people, you have to trade your own trading plan, right? There's no you can never just follow exactly what somebody's doing, right? If you come in, right, to anybody's YouTube channel, anybody you watch on the Twitter, whatever it is, if you just go in and you are blindly, I'm not saying you can't use these people to help you or, give you the base for your analysis or teach you something, right? But if you just come in and you think that you're going to be able to go join a signals group or watch someone on YouTube or something like that, and they're going to talk about a key level that's really strong, or maybe they're telling you 100% that's the level to long, or when this happens, you just long, you're going to lose a lot of your money, right? That's not how things work, right? Like I said, right? Sure. Like we have a lot, our calls play out like more often than they don't, right? Way more. But that doesn't mean that you could just come in and if I say it's going to go down, right? Like yesterday was an example of exactly what we were not hoping for, but looking for, right? We got to pull into our golden pocket. We got a rejection right at that golden pocket, right? Now, my hope here was that we were going to put in a higher low and continue up, right? So I was technically wrong about that, right? But we got the rejection right where we did, right? And I wish I took profit here on the long, but it's not a big deal. But at the end of the day, right, we could say, hey, get in here and get out here. You could get in here, even if it plays out. If you don't know how to take profit at key levels, how to lock in partial profits, how to, if you don't understand like how to actually do this stuff, you're going to wind up losing money anyway, right? That's why I don't run a signals group, right? Because I can tell everybody where to buy and where to sell, but most people are probably not going to buy or sell where you tell them to, and they're going to hold on for extra gains, or they're going to hold on for a lower entry, and then they're going to get a worse entry. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to make money, and it's the same thing with like long-term investments. If your favorite influencer says this coin is going to 20x on this date, right? Like I can't say how many times I hear people say XRP is going to $1,000 on this date at this time, and I'm like, if you invest your money based off that, like, and think you're going to make money, you got to rethink your trading plan. Let's see. And again, this does not mean that we can't provide value, right? Like I could provide value. I give you the charts, I give you the key levels, but you're never going to be able to just see one of my key levels and take along and make $1 million. You really have to go on that journey of learning how to trade the right way, the real way, not just gambling and get lucky once in a while and then you just give it up. Trading is a very difficult thing to do consistently. But that's what we do in the Discord. I like to teach and mold people into actual traders, not just tell them. I like to give you the fishing rods and the best bait, and then I point you to where the fish are, and I tell you, hey, if at 3:30, if you start seeing splashing around in that hole in the ice, here's the best fishing rod, here's the best bait. You're gonna want to go in there, and if you see that blue fish, swim by, you're gonna want to pull it up, right? I give you the best bait and the best fishing gear, and I show you where to fish. Right? And I tell you exactly how I would fish, right? And we do it alongside you. But to just go, here's a fish, you might leave it outside and it might rot and you'll never eat it, right? I don't know. That's a horrible analogy. But anyway, let's see. There's so many new investors that don't understand that stuff up front. And then they see a lot of people hyping into it too without reserve. Yeah, shout out to Wick 589. Absolutely, right. You have to understand, like a lot of 100%, right? But at the end of the day, most people just want to be told what to do with their money for two reasons. Number one, they don't want to do any work, right? And number two, they want to be able to point the finger if they lose their money, right? It's much easier to put the blame on someone else. This is where, like, your friend, if you tell your friend to buy a meme coin, you're buying a meme coin and they buy it and they blame you for losing all their money. It just feels better as human nature to just like blame somebody. They don't want to accept that they lost money because of them, right? Self-accountability is so important in trading. And at the end of the day, I don't know why. Shout out to Wick 589 and Wick's wife 589. Risking is investing. Absolutely. If you, I saw some girl on TikTok. She explained it way better than I could ever. She was talking about how her friends and family, she's been trading for 3 years. She trades futures and she trades stocks and options, but she's been successful. And her friends and family are constantly asking her to teach her how to do it. And she said, they try it for 2 days. Like she said, her mentorship is expensive crazy expensive, right? And the reason for that is because it weeds out the people who are just looking to get rich quick. And it's very true. If you get into trading and you think that you're going to make more than a brain surgeon without hard work and money spent learning, then that's just like a delusional thought, right? And that's what most people want, right? They want the easy thing. They don't want there to be a lot of work. They just want someone to tell them where to buy, where to sell, and they just want someone to make the money for them, right? And if they lose money, they want to be able to blame somebody. That's not how things work. Doctors, brain surgeons who get paid $1 million a year or whatever, right? They got to go to school. They spend a ton of money on school. They had to spend 8 years in school, right? And they have to work hard, right? It's the same thing with trading. A high-income skill like that does not come without investing money and time. There's no way around it, right? But that's not what an average person wants. So that's, I always talked about putting a barrier to entry into getting into the Discord because I really want to mold people into traders who really want to learn. And if you're looking to spend $5 and watch 2 tutorials and get rich overnight, you're never going to make it anyway. And I don't say it to be mean. It's just the hard fact of it. No one ever gets profitable in five minutes, right? And that's just the majority of people. There's a reason why a small portion of people are successful trading, right? It's because only a small portion of the population can withstand the emotional and mental stress that comes with trading and the grueling learning process, right? But if you want to change your life and you want a high income skill that you can do from anywhere in the world, it's the most rewarding thing on earth. I say this all the time, but it doesn't come easy. And the fact that it doesn't come easy should motivate you because it means it's not a scam. If you join a signals group and they say you're going to get rich overnight, guess what? It's too good to be true. It probably is, right? And that's why I run the things I run here. And that's why I teach, right? Because that's what's going to help you. Otherwise, I would just come up here and be like, guys, buy right now. Let's make $1 million. Buy, sell right here. Make $1 million, right? And I would just set bots up for that. But anyway, let's see. Everybody wants to give their money to a professional to trade for them for free. Yeah, shout out to Blindwater. Yeah, it's like, it's crazy, right? And that's why it almost pays to have skin in the game, right? And it's like I almost don't blame people for having like expensive entries into their mentorships and their Discords and stuff, if they're not a signals group, right? If it's a real mentorship where they're actually trying to teach you how to trade, like some of these mentorships, like, ours is affordable, right? I like to keep it, somewhat attainable for people, but, I think there is something to making someone put money in the game, right? Like if you spend $3,000 to learn a skill, you're probably going to watch the videos twice. You're probably actually going to take some notes, right? You're not just, if it's just a free YouTube tutorial, you're just like, you know what? I don't know. Yeah, okay, this is cool. I'm just going to get this indicator and buy and sell, right? Like, and those people are the ones that wind up thinking trading's a scam. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked, guys. But this is low-key, like, this is sauce, right? Because, like, if you really want to become a trader, it's possible. I'm living proof, right? There was a time I blew up more accounts than anybody I've ever known, right? And if I could do it, trust me, anybody can do it. But one thing I do think I have on my side naturally is, like unrealistic persistence and like grit. Like once I decided I wanted to figure it out, that was all I did. That's like all I focused on. I was hyper obsessed with it. And I think it takes a lot for people to kind of do that. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to High Def said, but Frankie, if you bought at 16K and looked at the chart and you seen that it was probable, almost guarantee, you could full port in the bull run on 3x, change life every cycle. No, shout out to High Def. I mean, not real. I mean, yeah, sure. If you wanted to, like, if you think, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you could think there's a high probability, right? You could think there's a high it's always going to be risk, right? Like let's say down here you see some kind of signal in 2018, you want to buy the bottom on 3x leverage, right? It's not just the entry and then you make money, right? It's the entry and then you have to endure every pullback, right? It's not the entry of the trade that is hard, right? So, I mean, some entries are hard, right? But it's not getting into the trade that's hard. It's knowing when to take profit and when to close the trade if it's invalidated. It's the management of the trade that's difficult, right? You know, and like that's why I say you could be, just because someone's a good technical analyst does not mean they're a good trader, right? Being a good trader and a good technical analyst are two different skills, right? When they work together, right? But they are not the same thing, right? You could be really good at calling bottoms and calling tops. That does not mean you're a good trader, right? You could say it's very different saying like, oh, look, I thought it was going to bounce here and it bounced. And you would think, well, like, hey, that's a really good skill because if you knew it was going to bounce there, you would make $1 million. And it's kind of hard to explain because it does seem like it would be that easy. But I promise you it's not. I promise. It's I would just say like technical analysis, the skill of TA and the skill of trading are two totally separate things. One thing is a technical skill. The other thing has a lot to do with your emotional discipline, your own discipline, like just mental discipline, and your ability to manage the risk. Right? Like, for example, you could say like, hey, this is for sure going to bounce. This is for sure going to bounce. Right? And at the end of the day, like, you don't really know, like I just said on the previous bull run, you don't know 100% that's the bottom. Right? And again, you don't know it's 100% the bottom until you wind up coming up a ton. Right? Because it's like you could have, right? In this case, right? In this case, you could have seen this weekly bull div and been like, well, hey, this is it, man. This is it. I'm going to full port. Right? But if you zoom in here, right, it's not just all hunky-dory, right? You get a move up, and then you get a big move down, right? And then you're in the red. And then you're thinking like, well, okay, wait, hang on a second. The VWAP's coming down on the week. Like, maybe there's going to be another drop. Maybe we're going to put in another drive of bullish divergence, right? Like, should I take I don't know. Maybe I should close it out. Nah, I think it's the bottom. And then you wind up holding it for lower. And a 3x trade, we talked about this yesterday, a low leverage trade with no stop loss can 100% get liquidated, right? You're not 100% safe if you're on low leverage. And then it's like, you know, it's much harder to say, okay, bull divs in, this is the bottom. You could say, I think this is the bottom, but you don't know it for certain. Hindsight is always going to be 20/20, even if you think you're going to be correct, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to endure the pullbacks, right? And like sometimes the pullbacks can get aggressive. For me, right, the better thing, right, and it's not that we don't take leverage longs at the bottom, but to hold those trades long term is a lot more difficult, right? I longed 40K, right, before we got the breakout. I longed right down here. 40K, I longed that, and I could have held this all the way up to here. I got closed out by the exchange because of KYC issues. But I didn't know, right? I thought this was a bottom, right? But I didn't know. I thought this was a bottom. I thought there would be a chance of a breakout, but you don't know 100%, right? We could have easily gotten a break of a support, right, and then come back down to test these highs before sending it, right? It's just never going to be that easy. What is better to do that with is your spot bags, right? So that's what I did here, and this is how you can make life-changing gains. You have a system, right, or a strategy to anticipate the bottom of the bear market. In our case, on my channel, right, we were talking about the weekly money flow crossover. As soon as we see that weekly money flow crossover, we anticipate the start of the bear market, right? Once you get the first aggressive drop down, now you could start to dollar cost average. And that's exactly what I did. I started dollar cost averaging. I bought, stopped, right? I think I actually bought a little bit in here too. But that's a lot easier, right? And the reason for that is because if you want to try to bottom, you're never going to bottom tick the all-time low. You could guess and you might be right, right? And it could be based off information. It could be the higher probability and your TA might wind up being right. But to bottom ticket on a low leverage trade is so risky, right? Because if you dollar cost average, DCA, right? If you get another drop down, you could just continue to dollar cost average rather than, putting, 50 grand on 3x leverage or whatever you want to do down here in hopes of it just going directly in your right direction, right? Because if you get another slight to the downside, you could easily get liquidated even on a low leverage trade, right? Especially if a lot of people are trying to long that and you get a liquidation grab, right? So there you go. That's my 2 cents on that. Shout out to High Def. That's a great question. Because it seems that easy. Trust me. I thought this too. I've gone through this whole journey. I just thought, trust me. When I started just learning about basic support, resistance, and trend lines, I was like, wow, all my trend lines get respected. Every support and resistance gets respected. This is amazing. I'm going to be rich tomorrow. And it's and that's the difference between TA and trading. You might be able to, and shout out to High Def. I'm sure you're doing great, and if not, I'm sure you will do great, especially if you're learning from me. But it's crazy, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably going through this right now. My TA works, but why am I not making money? It's because the management of the trade is the hard part of trading. TA is 20% of it. The rest is all psychological risk management, bankroll management, and emotional control and discipline. And those are hard things because you're fighting your own brain, right? It's a lot easier to it's a lot easier to lift weights than it is to consistently go to the gym. Does that make sense? Right? Like anybody could pick up a 5-pound weight and curl it once, right? But a lot less people can go do that 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, consistently over 3 years, right? Some people might be able to do it for a couple weeks, right? But how many people could do it for a year? Shout out to Dave Digital. We know he can. But let's see. Shout out to High Def said, literally sometimes we all be bullish, whole market be longing together. Yeah, I mean, I guess we all longed at the same time. We might be able to pump price. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, you could totally, if you wanted to open low leverage longs, like when you think the bottom is in, like you could do that. Just, it is definitely just like at some point you're going to have to take profit and protect your loss. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. But anyway, let's see. 5 pounds. Shout out to Creighton C. I had to do something everybody could do. Shout out to Colin, said, bro, you have just explained my life. And shout out to Colin. The reason for that is because I've actually went through what you're going through. I have had a very long trading journey, right? I went through seeing my TA get respected, thinking it's as easy as just bottom ticking the lows and then just holding for the exact top, right? I've gone through getting lucky on my first leverage trades, right? And then just thinking I'm a genius and blowing up accounts. I went through blowing up accounts consistently for a long time. Then I started being right more than I was wrong, and I would have my trades go into profit, but I wouldn't take the profit. That's the stage I was stuck in for the longest. I was, in profit on almost every trade. It would play out. I just would never take profit, and it would go back to my stop loss, right? I'd get into the trade. Very important, right? I would get into my trade. It would instantly play out, right? I'd be like, oh my God, yeah. I wouldn't take profit. It would come back down. It would come to my stop loss, and I'd go, no, I was right. I think it's going to keep going. I'd move my stop loss down, move my stop loss down, move my stop loss down until eventually liquidated, right? And I got stuck in that stage for a long time. Then I went to the stage of being right, not taking profit, and getting stopped out for small losses, right? And, sure, I would win trades and, I was making money here and there. But then I went to a stage, right? This is what a lot of people do. Then they'll go to the stage where they're right on their trades most of the time and they're break even, right? They're either they're either just getting stopped out at break even, right? Or they're like winning some trades, losing some trades. And then eventually you start to make money over time. But I would say, to be honest with you, like the biggest hurdle in trading is not the TA. It's not being right more than you're wrong. It's understanding the risk management and not closing your trades too soon or too early. It's the management of the trade that's hard. The TA is the easy part, although still very difficult. It is, compared to the other 80% of what trading is, the TA is a walk in the park. It's really everything else. But let's see. Yo, shout out to Alt-F4. Thank you for the super chat. Says, yeah, my liquidation level on, is that Pyth or is Puth a thing? Shout out to Alt-F4. Either way, he said my liquidation level is at like 0. Gonna hold that one. Yeah, absolutely, right? Like the hope is if you get in, right, you get a big enough move where you're like, you know, at some point, right, like it's almost like the trade here at 40K. If I didn't get that closed out by BingX, unfortunately, right, at that point, you know, your stop loss could be at break even. And then again, you know, it's also a risk-free trade. But, you know, like at this point, right, like you're not going to get liquidated on that, right? Or even stopped out at that point, right? Unless you hold it. Let's say this is the top of the bull market, right? Like, are you thinking the top is in, or you think you're going to make new all-time highs? And then before you know it, like all that profit's eaten up, right? But yeah, you know, if you're far enough away, you know, you don't have to worry about it if you have low enough leverage. But at the end of the day, you should never even be worried about liquidation level, because if you don't have a stop loss, then it's not a great idea anyway, right, from the start. So, but let's see. Couldn't agree more. Shout out to Ellie. Round tripping. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Max. Said, Frankie, I will be up 600 on my trade and not close it, but then that 600 in profit trade will go to 300 in the red and I'll close it. Max, that's the pain. That is the pain, bro. Yeah, and then you start to think to yourself, why am I so okay? It's the same thing. I remember going through this, bro. Shout out to Max. I remember thinking to myself, why am I so okay closing the trade when it's negative X amount than when it's positive X amount? And like I said, FOMO got me way more, and greed got me way more than fear. It's always the stronger emotion for me, right? So, you know, I would be way more likely to hold a trade into the red and close it because I wanted to make sure I was wrong, right? Rather than when I was up a little bit, I was like, nah, this has got to go. I get greedy. Don't be greedy. You could be a pig, but don't be greedy. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Yeah, it's horrible. Shout out to Max. Yeah, it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. So if your lick price is, Elon knows. What did Elon? Elon says, they whisper doubts like autumn leaves drifting soft on careless breeze. They say I dream to hold too high. That storm will break me if I try. But they don't see the fire inside. Shout out to Elon Musk taking poetry lessons from Wick 589. Yeah, you could be a pig, just don't be a pigs make money, hogs get slaughtered. I think that's the saying. I've had price blow through my stops before and not fill them. Yeah, Golden, that happens sometimes, Golden Child. Yeah. Greed got me more than fear. I needed to hear that. Yeah, Dan, it's so much worse. And it's what Max said, right? I was okay closing red trades, but I was not okay closing green trades. Think about that. And that's where that tip comes in. Get the prop money. Get some money on your desk. It could be real money. It doesn't matter, right? Get the money on your desk and then look at yourself, right? Like if you're up $1,000, right, and it's all going to be dependent on everybody's situation, when you start looking at it in that form and you're like, okay, dang, like I used to have to work for this, right? I just printed this out of nowhere. And that will get you to start pulling the trigger on those take profits a little bit easier, right? The same way that, you know, looking at a loss and counting out that loss in money will make you feel the pain even more. But let's see. Shout out to Mensch. Said, Frankie, are you long? I am currently long. I'm currently long from right here. Let's see how we're doing here. Up $1,000. So yeah, long from right here. And still short. I'm still much heavier short here, guys. I'm still much, this is essentially just a hedge against my shorts. Because, I had the long from yesterday into the golden pocket. Now this long again. Are we going to get it to continue to play out? I'm not 100% sure. Very hard to call. 30-minute money flow crossover into the green. Give me no 8-hour green dot, so you don't have the market cipher B1/16 at all. Let's see. Yeah, daily green dot looking to print as well. Yeah, I don't know. I do fully expect to get stopped out of this. I'm totally fine with that. Again, it's all about risk management. My stop loss is at break even at this point on this trade, and the shorts will obviously continue to pay us out. Let's see. I'm currently at the tight stop loss, so it gets hit often yet not sad. Like CryptoFace says, small losses, big wins are better than big losses. Absolutely, 100%. I cannot agree more. And shout out to CryptoFace. Like, the short, I'm sorry, the long that I got stopped out on, right? I lost $144, right? But the reward on that was so much higher than that, right? And again, my shorts are up 5 figures. So it's, big wins, small losses are the name of the game. And by trading the volume profiles, it is very, the beautiful thing about trading the volume profiles is that you can literally, when you look at the volume profiles, right? When you're looking for shorts at the highs and longs at the lows, right? Very often, right, you're going to catch a home run at some point, right? The way we trade, or the way I personally trade, like even in the Discord, we're longing the lows of the volume profile, not blindly, obviously, with very specific strategies, but you're catching the nice move up, then you're overvalued, look for the short, nice move down, then you're undervalued, back up, overvalued, undervalued. You're catching a single, a double, a single, a double, right? A single. And then when you manage the risk correctly, especially within a volume profile, because the simple strategy here is that when you deviate above the volume profile, this is where you look for shorts. And if you could catch a short up here, once you break back into that volume profile, we know that once you get underneath that value area high, which is sitting right here, I keep the labels there, right? But the value area high is right here. And once you get back stuck into that range, you're looking to go to the value area, the POC, and then the value area low. And chances are, right, you don't need to know if this is going to break up or break down, right? How am I short right from 102K? Now, it's not the tippy top. We did take shorts in here, right? But how am I still short from the tippy top here almost? The reason is because when I shorted here, I did not know this was going to be the absolute top, right? Or say I didn't know this was going to be the big top, right? I really just anticipated this short to bring us to the POC and the value area low. But how am I? And then if this breaks down and gives us the bigger move down, I can hold a portion of that trade. Why? Because I know I'm going to take profit at the POC, I'm going to take some profit at the value area low, and I can leave a portion of that to run in case we break down. And that's how you can turn that little single or double into a grand slam. But what if it breaks to the upside? If it breaks to the upside, very likely we would deviate below the volume profile and have a long from here. In which case, we already have our stop loss at break even or in profit here, right? Long starts to play out, stops your short out in profit, and then you let the winner run, right? That's how we trade. It's a very, very low stress way to trade. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Welcome in. Dave Digital. I don't know. Did you just come in, Dave? If you did, we just talked about you and your consistency at the gym. But yeah, there we go. I am long. Let's see. Oh, wait, are you guys getting ads on this live stream? Is that what someone just said? I see you guys talking about getting something in the middle of the stream. I might have put the wrong setting. Tony D usually does the live streams, and I didn't know what to do for the ads, so I just picked the highly recommended one. So if you're getting random ads, that might be it. Tomorrow I will pick the other option. I think Tony usually picks the option that doesn't give you the ads in the middle of the stream. I think you usually do pre-rolls. No ads for me. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Getting a little pullback here. Money flow still trying to come up here on the lower time frames. But yeah, it's going to be, we'll see what happens. 1 hour money flow crossing, looking to cross over into the green. 16-hour green dot confirmed. Yeah, I'll be honest. I fully expect to get stopped out of this long position and let the shorts continue to print. But if we do squeeze those shorts and break 85K, I would be looking for a squeeze into this golden pocket at 86,578 all the way up to the 786 at 87,888. I do get ads. Yeah, shout out to Lee. I think I'll try to do the ones that don't roll in the middle of the thing. I'm probably clicked the wrong setting. Yeah, YouTube Premium is worth every cent. I 100% agree with that. It is yeah, it's I spent way too long without YouTube Premium. I just never thought about doing it. I just got so used to watching ads, and then I did it, and it's the best decision I ever made. I cannot imagine having ads on YouTube. It's crazy. Let's see. Shout out to Cheek said, Frankie, on a side note, I am 98.786% sure certain I found the real Satoshi. You have time after the stream. Check out the premium off-topic chat. I know there's doubters, but I'm certain it's him. Shout out to Cheeks. Interesting. Is it golden? Nah, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'll go check that out. That's interesting. Apparently, Mickey Mays, the famous gambler, said he's in a movie where Satoshi reveals himself. I doubt that, but that would be crazy. Yo, shout out to Wick's wife, 589 says, what a business model. Pay more to not watch ads. They want to sell you things. That want to sell you things. Yeah. Shout out to Wick's wife. Yeah, it's crazy. Does Brave Browser just not give you ads on YouTube? Is that true? That's insane. Just better to use an ad blocker. Yeah. Can you use? I didn't even know you could use ad blockers. I'm a boomer when it comes to that stuff. Let's see. Okay, yeah, premium. But who here has YouTube Red? Cobra Kai Day 1. Oh yeah, shout out to Creighton C. I do not have YouTube Red. That's something I do not have. Does GTA 6 come out before or after the next all-time high? When is it supposed? Oh, they don't have a release date. I say after new all-time high. I don't think GTA 6 is ever coming out. Oh wow, what? Brave Browser blocks all ads? I wish I knew that. I am on Brave. Def see ads, but not here on the live. Okay, interesting. What time frames do you usually look at for confirmations on green and red dots? I don't have the 8, 10, 12, or 16 hour. Shout out to Bragmore. Thank you for being here, bro. He says, what time frames do you usually use for confirmation on green and red dots? So it depends on the situation. Like if I'm looking for a market cipher B116 strategy, for example, like the 90-minute money flow crossover into the green would be a daily green dot. The 15-minute money flow crossover into the green would be a 4-hour green dot, which was what I was hoping was going to happen for the continuation up on this trade. We'll see. Obviously, low probability there. But, yeah, 1 hour money flow crossover into the green would be a 16-hour green dot, which we don't really have either. It's like kind of there, not really. And then the 8-hour green dots would be a 30-minute money flow crossover, if that's what you mean. But other than that, if that's not what you mean, it would depend on the situation completely. It would depend on exactly what we're looking at. Shout out to Fighter Pilot said subscribed. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Welcome to the CandleMafia. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys, and smash that like button. I know we went on a couple of rants here today, but they are definitely 100% useful. And believe it or not, I will tell you guys this. It is probably more important to hear this stuff than any indicator, than any key signal, right? We obviously gave all the TA on Bitcoin. Altcoins are just still kind of meh. I would say really the only, the only real... yeah, I mean, things are just still sitting at key support. We need more development here, and we'll see. I'll see if we get stopped out of that long. I do think there's a high probability of that happening, but we'll just sit in our shorts. Like I said, it's just a hedge against the long is just a hedge against the shorts, but we'll see what happens. Do you remember when you broke even after your big losses in the early stages of trading? No, I'll be honest. I think I thought I was winning for a long time when I was in my break-even phase. I think I was like, I thought I was crushing because I was closing green trades, right? I was closing green trades, but I was also like getting big liquidations or big stops getting hit that ate up. It wasn't until I added everything up that I was like, I'm kind of just breaking even. So I didn't really recognize it until I actually wound up realizing it. And then once I realized, I was like, oh, I thought I was doing good, but I'm not really doing that good. And then that kind of pushed me to start, managing, taking the profit a little bit more aggressively. So yeah. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said the real Satoshi would never say he is the real Satoshi. That dude is not Satoshi. I'm gonna look into it, but yeah, guys, I actually gotta hop out of here. We did go pretty late. How long have we been going for right now? What are we going on? Is this a normal stream here? Oh no, 2 hours 16 minutes. Not too shabby. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. We'll see what happens here. I'm either gonna be stopped out of that long tomorrow and a massive profit on the shorts, or we'll still be a massive profit on the shorts with a little bit of extra profit on that long, guys. But I'll be here tomorrow, same place, same time. We'll see if we get any moves overnight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Shout out to Blind Wanderer. Shout out to Wick's wife. Shout out to Creighton C, Wick 589, VW John, All Set, Golden, High Def, Kelly, Mark Dutch. Shout out to Mark Dutch. What's going on, bro? Golden, J Violet, and Creighton C, and Golden Child. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Bing. They keep cutting me off. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
No, I don't think. No, dude, I don't think they know. Okay, catching on and knowing are two different things. Listen, if I've been him for that long, and no one's figured it out yet, I don't think it's happening. I make jokes about it all the time. I think we're good, bro. Yeah, well, I say it's really you because they know you're my cousin. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. All right, my bad. All right, I'll chill out. All right, peace. Can you guys hear me? I'm not Satoshi. I think that's obvious, guys. I think that's obvious. I'm not Satoshi. I swear. Ask Golden. He knows. I'm not Satoshi. But anyway, I got to get out of here, guys. Coming, Mrs. Candles. She's calling me, guys. I got to get out. Hasta pasta. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll,
and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on the road, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.